Chapter 762. The disciples of the 10th Ocean Domain wailed. Su Longxiang felt unwell. Master, no. This has nothing to do with me. Su Longxiang's face turned pale. He was just standing at the Dragon Gate. Who knew he would get into such a big trouble? You destroyed my first ocean domain's 10,000 years of foundation. Fire Buddha, if you don't give me an explanation, my first ocean domain won't let you off. Grand Preceptor Wen's roar came. We'll talk about this later. Fire Buddha's old face was gloomy. He looked at Su Longxiang coldly. Hurry up and help. The 10th ocean domain was overturned. The Dragon Gate was gone. Shan Qingling was relieved. At least there was no need to test anymore. The warship of the 22nd Ocean Domain entered. Everyone who participated in the Ocean Master meeting had arrived. Lin Yu touched his nose with his finger and looked at the broken Dragon Gate. It has nothing to do with me. Grand Preceptor Wen arranged for everyone to stay in their respective residences. After a few hours, the 10th Ocean had to pay a huge price to settle the Dragon Gate's mess, so they had to give up temporarily. At this moment, there was no one above the ruins of the Dragon Gate. However, a figure appeared in the sky. It was Venerable Wuya. At this moment, even with Venerable Wuya's composure, he couldn't help but feel shocked. It wasn't destroyed on purpose, but by force? Venerable Wuya observed the damage of the Heaven Gate and went to the guest hall of the 10th Ocean Domain. He observed Su Longxiang from afar. Soon, he shook his head again. Above the Heaven rank is the Divine rank. When the Dragon Gate is destroyed, the Divine rank will appear. But this kid doesn't deserve it. Venerable Wuya was puzzled. According to Grand Preceptor Wen's report, Su Longxiang was under the Dragon Gate. If it wasn't him, then who was it? Soon, everyone in the guest welcoming hall received a voice transmission. The Ocean Master meeting was cancelled and changed to the sequence battle. It would start tomorrow. This transmission carried a supreme prestige. Within the boundless sea, no one could go against this voice, because it came from Venerable Wuya. Sequence battle. The Venerable One changed the Ocean Lord Assembly into a sequence battle. Could it be that he wanted to nurture powerhouses that could enter the sequence ranking? If this is true, then tomorrow will be our best chance. Since ancient times, even the weakest of the people who were able to make it onto the ranking board were future venerables. That's not all. If you're even stronger, you might be able to earn the favor of the experts on the Heaven God ranking and receive their guidance. Even the Martial Highness Realm cultivators might not be able to match your achievements. The Celestial God list is too far away. All the geniuses of the boundless sea had gathered in the first sea. Even with their experience, they couldn't help but be fascinated when they heard about the sequence battle. The echelon was the highest honor of the boundless sea, and even the world sea's younger generation. Aptitude and whatnot were all meaningless. Only by being on the sequence rankings would one be truly recognized by the three realms. Unfortunately, the difficulty of entering the sequence was unimaginable. For example, in the entire boundless sea, perhaps only 1 or 2 people would be able to enter the ranks, and these 2 people would have to compete with the other 6 seas, or even the people of the primitive continent and Tianyu before they could truly enter the sequence rankings. Lin Yu had also heard a lot about the sequence rankings from Fan Tong and Xiao Yenyao. The most important thing in this matter is to participate. Winning or losing is not important. After knowing that Lin Yu's aptitude was so poor, Fan Tong didn't want to put too much pressure on Lin Yu. After discussing with Xiao Yenyao, they decided to let Lin Yu relax a little. The most important thing was to participate. Xiao Yenyao nodded and continued. There are 7 main opponents this time. 2 of them are in the equalization realm. They are Shan Qingling and Su Longxiang. The other 5 are in the 4 divisions realm. They are Tai Jian, Situ Xiang, Zhuge Lingyun, Mu Zhan Tian and Lin Yuan. These 5 are in the 4 divisions realm. Tai Jian, in particular, is in the 2nd heaven of the 4 divisions realm. His cultivation is the highest. Xiao Yenyao only knew this information, plus the information in Fan Tong's hands. It was obviously not enough for Lin Yu. But Lin Yu was also helpless. Unless he could investigate the information of these geniuses, he wouldn't know much. The 6th and 7th seas had just suffered a great calamity, so there was no time to investigate. Sea Lord Lin Yuan in the 5th Sea came to find Mr. Lin. The subordinate reported. Xiao Yenyao and Fan Tong looked at each other. They knew that Lin Yuan's actions today obviously had a deep relationship with Lin Yu. The two also have the same surname. Maybe they knew each other before. It's just that these are Lin Yu's private affairs, so they won't ask too much. At this moment, they tactfully avoided it for the time being. Lin Yuan came in and immediately knelt in front of Lin Yu. "Greetings, master. Get up," Lin Yu said gently and helped Lin Yuan up. "In the future, you don't need to salute in front of me." Lin Yuan nodded, and his face couldn't hide his longing for Lin Yu. At the same time, he took out a booklet from his arms. The booklet was opened by Lin Yu. It contained detailed information of everyone in the sequence battle. Tai Jian was good at using poison. He was a master who majored in combat and minored in poison. Situ Xiu was good at swordsmanship. His all things are sword skill had the combat power to contend with Tai Jian, who was at the 2nd level of 4-symbol state. There was also Zhuge Lingyun, who majored in death energy and could summon the dead to fight with his judge pen. There were also Mu Zhantian's talismans, Su Longxiang's Buddhist skills, and Shan Qingling's alchemy skills. Even the dead Jiang Beihan's flaws were described in the booklet. However, Jiang Beihan didn't even have the chance to use the array before he died in the hands of Lin Yuan. "This is the information collected in the 5th Sea?" Lin Yuan nodded. Lin Yu smiled and said, "If you show this to me, Yang Ju might be angry." "It's okay," Lin Yuan said calmly, without any emotion at all. It was as if the relationship between him and Yang Ju was just a transaction. But when needed, Lin Yuan would choose to support Lin Yu without hesitation. "Yi and Lin Xiu separated from you?" Lin Yu asked again. Although he wasn't worried about them, after all, these people had the strength of the 4-symbol state. And with Lin Xiu's wisdom and the experience of Qin Yi's 10 lifetimes, it would be difficult for ordinary forces to really hurt them. "I met Mistress, but at that time, I couldn't find Master and Lin Xiu was nowhere to be found. Mistress asked me to stay in the boundless sea and find a force at random. When I have a firm foothold, I will use my own force to find Master." Lin Yu nodded. Qin Yi's thoughts coincided with his. The boundless sea was too big. Even if a warship sailed, it would take a few days to travel between different sea areas. And here, there were a total of 33 sea areas. Outside the boundless sea, the entire border sea was 7 times the size of the boundless sea. If they searched blindly, it would be tantamount to looking for a needle in a haystack. Mistress left the boundless sea. At that time, Zixia Sea's Qiong Fairy sect was recruiting people. Mistress went to seek refuge with Qiong Fairy sect. Mistress said. Lin Yuan wanted to say something but stopped. Chapter 763. Go on. After hearing this, how could Lin Yu not continue to listen? The mistress said that the master is lecherous and might have run to the Zixia Sea. The Zixia Sea is surrounded by the sunset glow day and night. It is the place with the most female cultivators. She said that the master might have already been among the women. Lin Yu almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. Am I that kind of person? Lin Yu shook his head helplessly. Women nowadays are really good at reading people. We will split up. This was given to me by the mistress. She said that if I meet the master first, I will pass it to you. Lin Yuan took out another amber bead. This kind of bead is different from the storage ring. The storage ring has an internal space and can store a large number of physical objects. This bead is a prayer bead that can store spiritual sense. Lin Yu was on top of the prayer beads. He used his divine consciousness to enter the beads and sensed the divine consciousness of rebirth in bliss left by Qin Yi. This spiritual sense has no self-consciousness, it is just an illusory figure of Qin Yi. But Lin Yu understood what Qin Yi meant. The presence of the spiritual sense means that Qin Yi is safe and sound. If the spiritual sense begins to be damaged, it means that Qin Yi is injured. The most dangerous situation is that the spiritual sense dissipates, which means that Qin Yi is dead. Lin Yu looked at the current situation. The spiritual sense is intact, which means that Qin Yi is safe. He put away the prayer beads. He also studied the information brought by Lin Yuan. There are only two strong enemies, Tai Jian and Situshio. As for the others, Lin Yu estimated that they can't take a few moves from him. You go back first and stay in Yangzhou. In the future, when you and I have a stable foundation, we can form our own forces. Lin Yuan nodded. Although he was reluctant to part with Lin Yu, he also understood that they are just living under someone else's roof now. There is no low-key sect here, nor is there Fang Yi Dao world. Even the Sky Desert universe has been destroyed. They need to form their own forces and let the low-key sect gain a foothold in this new world again. Master, I will help you win the sequence battle. Lin Yuan's eyes were full of certainty as he said this sentence and left. The next day, everyone arrived at the entrance of the sequence battle. It was a trial ground formed by hundreds of deep-sea volcanoes in the First Sea region. On the trial grounds, as everyone gathered, the Venerable One's figure also appeared on the volcano. I will divide the sequence battle into two parts. The first part will be the Sea Pearl battle, and the second part will be the individual battle. Venerable Wuya's cold and majestic voice rang out. Everyone held their breaths and focused. At the same time, they saw the volcano erupting from time to time below. This underwater volcano contained an extremely powerful force. Around the volcano was a vast expanse of gray land. It was as if it had once been covered by magma, and now it had solidified into land. Just like the First Sea region, this continent was covered by a thin film of obsidian chi that prevented seawater from entering. It would allow everyone inside to live as if they were on land. Sea Pearl, are you talking about something made from ice crystals in our boundless sea? I heard that it's a type of obsidian bot specially used by supremacies. It fuses with the obsidian chi of the deep sea and is hundreds of times more effective than obsidian bot. It's exclusive to the Venerable One, so no one can get the ocean pearl in advance. That's fair. Everyone was talking about it. In the sky, Venerable Wuya spoke again. Everyone immediately quieted down. I will scatter the ocean pearls in the trial grounds of the volcano. The top 4 with the most ocean pearls will enter the second battle. After Venerable Wuya finished speaking, he disappeared on the spot. He came and went without a trace, but the others were already eager to give it a try. Especially Tai Jian and the others. They were looking down at the volcanoes below, trying to figure out where the Venerable One hid the ocean pearls. This is the trial ground of the First Sea region. Tai Jian, don't tell me you already know where the ocean pearls are hidden? Yeah, that's not fair. We're looking for something in the First Sea region, and we have to compete with the people of the First Sea region. How can we compete? Hearing these words, Grand Preceptor One had already thought of an excuse. The ocean pearls were placed by the Venerable One himself. Even I and the people of the First Sea region don't know about it. Don't tell me you're suspecting the Venerable One? After Grand Preceptor One finished speaking, he couldn't help but sneer. Because he saw the others all shut up when they heard the Venerable One. A group of people who bully the kind and fear the evil. Grand Preceptor One thought in his heart, but he still had a generous smile on his face. Since everyone has no questions, then please enter the volcano trial ground. Tai Jian, Situ Xiu, Zhuge Lingyun, Mu Zhan Tian, Lin Yuan, Su Longxiang, Shan Qingling. Grand Preceptor One stayed on Su Longxiang for a while. After all, this kid actually broke his dragon gate. However, the Venerable One didn't allow him to make things difficult for Su Longxiang, which made Grand Preceptor One puzzled. Could it be that there was some secret in the Dragon Gate that even he didn't know about? The Sea Lords changed, but there was only one Venerable One in 10,000 years. Therefore, even though Grand Preceptor One now controlled the First Sea region, he still didn't know as much as the Venerable One about the ancient secrets of the boundless sea. Sea Lord One, you haven't finished reading yet, Fan Tong said with an angry face. Only Lin Yu was left out. This was obviously looking down on him. By the way, there's also that guy from the Sixth Sea region, Lin Yu. Grand Preceptor One sneered, but he didn't look down on Lin Yu too much. The 8 people gathered outside the volcano trial ground. The light of the teleportation array enveloped them. Lin Yuan glanced at Lin Yu, and then the figures of the 8 people disappeared at the same time. When they reappeared, Lin Yu was already outside the volcano trial ground. It was a boundless gray continent. The ground under his feet was much hotter than ordinary land. On the continent, large and small volcanoes could be seen everywhere. However, these volcanoes seemed to have been dead for a long time, and there were no signs of eruption. However, it was not convenient for mortals to get close because Lin Yu still felt the high temperature surging. There was no one around. Lin Yu raised his head and saw that there was a barrier formed by the aura above his head. On the barrier, their names and the number of sea pearls they obtained were written. Lin Yu looked around and could vaguely perceive an extremely hidden divine sense monitoring him. It was estimated that not only him, but everyone who entered the trial ground was being monitored. This level of divine sense is obviously not something that can be achieved by the 4 symbols state. There is only one person in the boundless sea who has such a powerful ability. That is Venerable Wuya. Soon, the sea pearl list began to jump for the first time. The name of Situ Xiu of the Second Sea region jumped to the first place. He had already obtained the first sea pearl, while the others were still 0. Outside the trial ground, Grand Preceptor One said, "You see, we Taijian have no advantage here, you can rest assured." Chapter 764. The crowd was skeptical. Why did he have to explain himself again for no reason? Could it be that he had a guilty conscience? Tai Jian will find it eventually. Maybe you're purposely letting him wait for the others to find a few before letting Tai Jian take action. Fan Tong had always disliked Grand Preceptor One. The corner of Grand Preceptor One's mouth quirked up. He looked at Fan Tong as if he were looking at an ant he could crush at any time. Of course we'll find it eventually. With Tai Jian's talent, he won't lose to the others. On the other hand, Sea Lord Fan, you're still worried about that Lin Yu of yours. Grand Preceptor One shook his head and sighed. It's a pity that the disciples of the Sixth Sea followed a yellow-ranked Sea Lord. Even the younger generation is so mediocre. When Xiang, you old thief, Lin Yu's potential isn't something you can see. Fan Tong said angrily. He even said Grand Preceptor Wen's real name. How dare you? This is the First Sea. I'm Grand Preceptor One. What nonsense are you spouting? Nonsense? Your parents gave me this name. We've known each other for so many years, do you think I don't know? Do you think I won't know you just changed your name to Grand Preceptor One? Wen Xiang. Fan Tong's childish expression left the others dumbfounded. Was this still the Ocean Lord level powerhouse they knew? Even Xiao Yenyao couldn't help but pull Fan Tong aside. Brother, forget it. Grand Preceptor Wen's face twitched. He clenched his fists tightly. If it weren't for the fact that he couldn't beat Nangong Ming back then, he would have snatched him back. Fan Tong wouldn't have the face to jump around like this in front of him. Below the training field, Lin Yu pondered. Though he didn't know how many sea pearls there were, he'd already observed them from above. Now that he was here, he could make some simple deductions. This position should be in the Li position. If it's according to the 36 mansions and the 8 trigrams, then it should be here. Lin Yu muttered to himself. He took a step forward and moved 30 meters to the west. Lin Yu stomped his foot and the ground shook. The ground sealed by the grayish-white lava suddenly split open and a sparkling pearl flew out and landed in Lin Yu's hand. Half of the bead was radiating Yao Qi, while the other half was a deep-sea pressure unique to the boundless sea. This should be Haiju. Looks like I was right. Lin Yu moved another 200 feet away and stomped on the ground again. Another ocean pearl flew out. His ranking instantly surpassed Situ Xiu's and reached first place. As for the others, they also found their first one in succession. But this place is too big. Based on this distance, there should be more than just the 36 Big Dipper constellations. There should be 72 earthly fiends. Lin Yu continued to shift and dug out sea pearls one after another. His ranking also shocked the outside world. 10-11. What's up with that kid from the sixth ocean? How did he become so powerful all of a sudden? Fan Tong and Xiao Yinyao were overjoyed. They knew they had not misjudged him. That child is a promising talent. He seems to have deciphered the pattern of the Venerable's placement of the ocean pearls in such a short time. It must be so. With the size of the volcano trial field, it would be like looking for a needle in a haystack. Lin Yu is so fast now. He must have found the pattern. The two said one after another. Grand Preceptor Wen's old face was gloomy to the extreme. What the F***ck is this? That kid is a waste with no cultivation. Even during the Dragon Gate test, he was still a waste with no aptitude. How could he collect ocean pearls so quickly? In the 10th sea, where Fire Buddha was, Jiang Ying walked over. Lord of the Flame Sea, about what we agreed on yesterday. What are you doing here now? It's easy to arouse suspicion. Fire Buddha's old face darkened. I have arranged for Longxiang to do what I promised you. Don't worry, Lin Yu and Lin Yuan can't run away. You should go back quickly. If people knew that he received benefits and asked Su Longxiang to kill Lin Yu and Lin Yuan in the trial field, where would he put his face as the Lord of the 10th Sea? I am also eager to avenge my son. That's good. Thank you, Lord of the Flame Sea. Jiang Ying also knew that there were many eyes and ears now, but he had no choice. Fire Buddha, this bastard, received 100 billion Yao Baht from him yesterday, and then casually promised that he would get rid of Lin Yu and Lin Yuan. Who knows whether he did it or not, and with Su Longxiang's skill, he may be able to kill Lin Yu, but he doesn't know if he is Lin Yuan's opponent. In the volcano trial field, Lin Yu looked at his ranking. He knew that he was not the only one who could see it. Others must also be able to see it. Maybe they have already regarded him as a thorn in their side. An ordinary man is innocent. For the sake of safety, I have to meet with Lin Yuan first. Lin Yu pondered. He may be confident to fight one of them alone, but if he is surrounded by a group of wolves, even if he is a lion, he may fail miserably. After changing a few positions, Lin Yu finally saw the traces of other people. It seems that my luck is not good. Lin Yu was helpless. He did not meet Lin Yuan, but Su Longxiang. Ba, benefactor, we meet again. Su Longxiang put his hands together, and the fist-sized Buddhist beads on his neck were particularly conspicuous. However, although this thing seems ordinary, Lin Yu smelled a bloody smell on it. This person is not as kind as he looks on the outside. This kind of person was often more dangerous than those who looked like fiends, because others can see the fierceness of the other party at a glance and have to be on guard. However, Su Longxiang is a kind person. Once he makes a move, the other party will be caught off guard and will be easily plotted against. Yes, we meet again. Lin Yu smiled and played with the sea beads in his hand. Su Longxiang glanced at the Buddhist beads, and an imperceptible light flashed in his eyes, and then he returned to calmness. It was only for a moment, but it couldn't be hidden from Lin Yu's eyes. He has seen too many people. On the same day when he was trapped, Lin Yu has seen thousands of people and learned all their secrets, which also allowed him to practice a pair of discerning eyes. Lin Yu has been deceived by many seemingly loyal people, and he has also been plotted against by others. Although it was only for a day, he could repeatedly get to know these people and see what they were really hiding in their hearts under the surface. Over time, he could see the subtle movements of anyone and judge the thoughts of these people. Even if Lin Yu left the sky desert universe and came to a strange place, this ability will follow him for a lifetime. Although it is impossible to be 100% sure, Lin Yu can roughly see the thoughts of anyone. You want it? Lin Yu raised the corner of his mouth and said deliberately. Su Longxiang retracted his gaze and calmly shook his head and said, Benefactor's things do not belong to this poor monk. Chapter 765. In that case, I'll take my leave. After Lin Yu said that, he moved away and separated himself from Su Longxiang by more than 100 feet. But soon, Su Longxiang caught up with him. It seems that you have something else to do? Benefactor, this poor monk wants to ask for directions. What directions? The road to hell. I don't know if you know how to get there? Lin Yu smiled and said, Are you not going to act anymore? I thought you would take a detour with me. Su Longxiang's righteous face showed an evil smile, which was extremely terrifying. This poor monk wanted to test you first, but unfortunately you are too smart. Since you have seen through this poor monk's intention, what's the point of continuing the act? Lin Yu heaved a long sigh. Su Longxiang was surprised. Logically speaking, Lin Yu should be nervous facing him alone when he released his killing intent. Why was this person still so calm? Even if Lin Yuan was tested to have a heaven-grade aptitude at the beginning, there was also the death of Jiang Beihan and the collapse of the Dragon Gate. Su Longxiang seemed to have never seen Lin Yu's shocked expression. Benefactor, why are you sighing? What do you mean? Su Longxiang probed again. He was full of confidence to kill a mortal whose cultivation he couldn't see through, who seemed to only have a slightly stronger body and could move quickly. But now, Su Longxiang was a little uncertain. I think you should continue the act. Lin Yu smiled faintly, and Su Longxiang felt a murderous aura emanating from that smile. A murderous intent so majestic that it was about to swallow him. Benefactor, you don't have any cultivation, and you only rely on your extraordinary body. You are not my opponent, Su Longxiang said coldly, but he was ready to guard against Lin Yu at any time. Whether I am your opponent or not, you will know when you make a move. Lin Yu said slowly and looked at Su Longxiang's sea pearls. You have 5 pearls. Well, it saves me some time. Spreading out his hands, Lin Yu raised his eyebrows and said, Don't you want to rob me? Make your move. Su Longxiang was a little surprised by this scene. This person casually stretched out his hand. His entire body was full of flaws, but his expression was unbelievably calm. Strange. This person was either an idiot or a monster to the extreme. Forget it. Su Longxiang put his palms together and a swastika started to spin rapidly. It was a Buddhist technique. Benefactor, take this. Godly Shumi palm. The swastika instantly enlarged 10 feet, 30 feet, 50 feet. As his palm descended, 9 strands of equalization Tao insight converged on it, and it blasted down towards Lin Yu. The shock waves from the battle erupted. Many people heard the commotion and became excited. These people were all geniuses of the boundless sea. No one would be so naive as to think that entering this training ground was really as simple as finding Haiju. Killing and seizing treasures was their main objective. As for the 4 winners, they weren't the ones with the most Haiju. In their world, only those who were still alive were qualified to take Haiju out. Lin Yu faced the palm head-on. The 5 elemental imprint palm struck out at the same time. His perfect state of equilibrium erupted and directly swept away the godly Shumi palm. Rumble! The 2 palms collided. Su Longxiang's eyes widened as he saw his palm energy being neutralized by Lin Yu. Not only that, The remaining power of the 5 elemental imprint palm was heading towards him. This person is really not simple. He had already prepared to retreat, so he easily dodged the remaining power of the palm and wasn't injured. Su Longxiang and Lin Yu pulled away from each other. At the same time, the others also rushed over. 22nd Sea Lord Shan Qingling and 4th Sea Lord Mu Zhantian were the first to arrive. When they saw the two fighting, they didn't immediately take action. Instead, they chose to observe. As for Tai Jian, Situ Xiu, and Zhuge Lingyun, they were extremely smart. They didn't care about the battle here. Instead, because of the battle, they sped up their search for Haizhu. That kid actually has such strength? Mu Zhantian saw Su Longxiang taking the initiative to pull away from Lin Yu and already sensed that something was wrong. It was impossible for a cripple without cultivation to force Su Longxiang to retreat. On the other side, Shan Qingling also sensed the problem. She looked at Lin Yu a few more times, but still couldn't find any clues about Lin Yu. It was as if this person didn't belong to this world. Therefore, no one could see through his cultivation. Lin Yu, this poor monk was only digging for Haizhu. Why did you snatch it by force? Su Longxiang immediately pretended to be innocent when he saw people coming. Everyone, please be the judge. The first battle was only to see who could dig out more Haizhu. This kid wanted to sneak attack this poor monk and steal my Haizhu. If this poor monk's cultivation wasn't so strong and dodged his attack, I might have died in this bastard's hands. Su Longxiang, you were actually attacked by a newcomer. Don't you feel ashamed? Mu Zhantian teased. This kid isn't simple. He's ruthless and extremely shrewd. Brother Mu, why don't you help me get rid of him? Otherwise, I'm afraid the next one he'll snatch will be you. Su Longxiang's words seemed to have already met Mu Zhantian's eyes. Lin Yu thought so too. These people were all famous in the sea region for a few years. They probably had some connections in private. He didn't know if Shan Qingling was the same. If the three of them joined forces, he would be in trouble. Su Longxiang, are you saying that you want me to help you? Mu Zhantian looked at the Haizhu ranking in the sky and sneered. I can help you. This kid has 11 Haizhu. I want 7. Hearing that, Su Longxiang's face darkened. You're really greedy. Hee, if Brother Su isn't willing, then I'll just watch you guys fight. When the time comes, I'll help you. How could Su Longxiang not understand the meaning behind Mu Zhantian's words? Once he and Lin Yu were exhausted, it would be the time for Mu Zhantian to reap the benefit. I wonder if Lord Shan Qingling is interested? Su Longxiang looked at Shan Qingling again. Since he was at a disadvantage, he might as well get another person to help. If Lord Shan Qingling is willing to help me deal with Lin Yu, I can give you some of the Haizhu. Mu Zhantian narrowed his eyes. Su Longxiang was reminding him that he wasn't the only one who could help. Shan Qingling could also be his partner. Not interested. Who would have thought that Shan Qingling would reject him without hesitation? Lord Shan Qingling, have you thought about it? Su Longxiang asked again. If I want to snatch, I prefer to do it alone. I don't want to bully others with numbers like you. Shan Qingling stood with her hands behind her back. Her cultivation was similar to the others, which was at the 9th Dao equalization stage. However, her coldness and principles were higher than the others. This reaction also attracted Lin Yu's attention. Interesting. Kid, how dare you sneak attack me? You're about to die and you're still laughing? Su Longxiang shouted coldly. Brother Mu, let's do it. Chapter 766. Do you remember me now? Mu Zhantian sneered in his heart, but he wouldn't go against his own interests. He was about to kill Lin Yu first and take away his 11 sea pearls. But before he could make a move, a voice came from afar. If you want to touch him, you have to get past me first. The voice came from 100 feet away, but when everyone heard the voice, the figure had already appeared in front of Su Longxiang and Mu Zhantian. Lin Yuan. Mu Zhantian and Su Longxiang were shocked at the same time. Although Lin Yuan is also a newcomer, no one dares to underestimate him because of his record of killing Jiang Beihan. What does this have to do with you? Get out of my way! Mu Zhantian shouted. Su Longxiang was in the equilibrium state, which was lower than Lin Yuan. The dead Jiang Beihan was also in the equilibrium state. But Mu Zhantian was different. He was in the first level of the four-symbol state, which was the same as Lin Yuan's cultivation. Naturally, he wasn't afraid of Lin Yuan. Just help me block this person. Lin Yu's voice came. Lin Yuan nodded immediately and stood in front of Mu Zhantian. I will fight with you. Bastard. Su Longxiang saw this and immediately gritted his teeth. He felt that something bad was happening in front of him. A black sickle broke through the air. Lin Yu raised it casually and attacked him. Boundless Dharma. Su Longxiang made a gesture with both hands, and a huge Buddha statue suddenly appeared on his body. The Buddha statue rose to the sky and directly faced the black sickle with both hands. Death God crossing versus Boundless Dharma. The golden light and the black light suddenly collided. Damn it! It was only the second move, but Su Longxiang already felt an unprecedented pressure. How can this person's moves be so strong? He retreated again, and the Buddha statue outside his body disintegrated. Death God crossing fell again. Su Longxiang's body moved again, and injuries appeared on his body. Go! Knowing that he was no match for Lin Yu, Su Longxiang planned to run away, but another Death God crossing slashed down. The speed of this blade was too fast. Su Longxiang's vision turned black, and the black light of the sickle had already fallen. He subconsciously dodged, but he was still one step too late. Blood gushed out as Su Longxiang's entire right arm was separated from his body. His right arm had been severed by the Grim Reaper. Damn it! Damn it! Lin Yu, I'm not done with you! Su Longxiang roared, but he didn't dare to delay any longer. He burned his cultivation and took out a large number of pills from his storage ring with his other hand. In exchange, he fled the battlefield at extreme speed. In another direction, Mu Zhantian was startled by the quick conclusion of the battle before he even made a move. Wasn't it F***king over too fast? Who the hell was that Su Longxiang? He had only exchanged a single blow with Lin Yu and his arm had already been chopped off. What was the point of playing then? There must be some misunderstanding here. Goodbye. After saying that, Mu Zhantian also ran away without looking back. You ran a little fast. Lin Yu felt a little helpless. Originally, he wanted to leave Su Longxiang alive. Unfortunately, these people were quite strong. He couldn't kill him in 2 moves. It seems that I will have to use 3 moves next time, Lin Yu said to himself. When Shan Qingling heard this, she only felt the hair on her back stand up. Su Longxiang's arm was chopped off in 2 moves when he was in his peak state, but he was still not satisfied. He wanted to take his life in 3 moves. This is probably something that even Tai Jian and other Sea Lords can't do. This seemingly harmless young man has such terrifying combat power. How can he be so decisive? Do you want to snatch my haiju? Lin Yu suddenly looked over, and Shan Qingling's delicate body trembled. I didn't. Lin Yu said softly. Shan Qingling could hear the disappointment in the other party's one word. Terrifying, if she had attacked Lin Yu just now, would this guy have chopped her off now? Then what are you doing here? Lin Yu asked again. Shan Qingling was startled again. I plan to cooperate with you. Lin Yuan, a heaven-grade aptitude powerhouse, is already terrifying enough. Now that she knows that Lin Yu is also so terrifying, it made Shan Qingling have the idea of cooperation even more. How do you want to cooperate? Lin Yu asked. Shan Qingling saw that there was an opportunity and immediately explained. Tai Jian, Situ Xiu, Zhuge Lingyun, and Mu Zhantian, all 4 of them are masters of the 4 symbols state. That's it? Lin Yu's calm voice came. He dug out another haiju in front of Shan Qingling. 12. Lin Yu showed a knowing smile. But when he looked up at the haiju ranking above, his face twitched. Damn, when did you surpass me by so much? At this moment, the first in haiju ranking was Tai Jian, who had already obtained 20 haiju. The second and third were Situ Xiu and Zhuge Lingyun, with 18 and 16 respectively. Lin Yu directly fell to fourth. Is this because Su Longxiang wasted a lot of my time just now, so I was surpassed? Lin Yu immediately thought of the reason. Others fight while I develop. It seems that these three geniuses' brains are not bad. Probably at this speed, they also saw the clues of this volcano trial field like him. Plus the time wasted by Lin Yu, they could surpass him so much. Thinking of this, Lin Yu planned to hurry up. Digging out haiju was one thing, but it was best to find Su Longxiang and those who came to deliver their heads. It would be more convenient to snatch their haiju directly. Thinking of this, Lin Yu planned to continue looking, but Shan Qingling stopped him again. Shan Qingling was surprised by Lin Yu's means. He actually found another haiju. But this scene made her even more certain of her thoughts. They are all in the four symbols state, and they are extremely powerful, and their friendship is not shallow. I mean, they may have already cooperated and decided on the person who will win the first battle. They can still decide? Lin Yu smiled. Shan Qingling sighed softly. That's right. You might still be a newcomer, so you don't understand this, but the younger generation of the Boundless Sea have different transactions in private. They will cooperate, and you can't win against them alone. For example, Tai Jian and Situ Xiu. Shan Qingling glanced at Lin Yu, wanting to say something. Continue speaking, or move aside. Lin Yu said coldly. Shan Qingling gritted her teeth and could only continue. Tai Jian and Situ Xiu often trade women below. Women? Lin Yu smiled with interest. When this scene landed in Shan Qingling's eyes, disdain arose in her heart. Indeed, were all stinky men the same in the world? That's right, they use women as playthings. With their abilities, there's naturally no lack of beautiful young beauties around them, and in order to find excitement, they often exchange women. How do you know? I don't ask about this matter, you just need to know that there's this matter. Chapter 767. So that's how it is. Lin Yu touched his chin. Is it possible that Shan Qingling is also one of these women? What's wrong? Shan Qingling was taken aback, seeing that Lin Yu continued to ignore her and went in the opposite direction. What do you mean? I am not interested in other people's women. Lin Yu waved his hand. Wait. Shan Qingling's pretty face was sullen, her figure moved, and once again blocked in front of Lin Yu and Lin Yuan. What nonsense are you talking about? I have nothing to do with them, and I refused. Lin Yu still looked at her with a look of disbelief. I am the 22nd Sea Lord, and I want to show my sincerity by telling you my information. If you don't believe me, I can prove it. Shan Qingling was obviously a little anxious because of Lin Yu's reaction. She knows that with her ability, there is no way to win against Tai Jian and his group. Whether it is combat power or strategy, she has lost to others by a large margin. The only way now is to choose to cooperate with Lin Yu and Lin Yuan after seeing the combat power shown by them. How do you prove it? Lin Yu raised his eyebrows, without the slightest tenderness for the fairer sex. Shan Qingling gritted her teeth. In order to stand firmly in the position of the Sea Lord, she must make some achievements in the sequence battle. Thinking of this, Shan Qingling pulled up the sleeve of her right hand. On the snow-white arm there is a vermilion mark. This was left by my master when I was a child, to prove that I am still a virgin. Shan Qingling's cold pretty face was a little aggrieved, but she still finished this sentence. Do you believe it now? I have nothing to do with them, I can cooperate with you. I believe you. Lin Yu nodded. It seems that this goddess with a cold appearance also has a weak side. Since it's okay, then continue. Shan Qingling eased her emotions and continued, I know the secret of this volcano trial field, and I believe you know it too. Everything here is arranged according to the 36 constellations, and the sea pearl is also hidden in the corresponding position of the 36 constellations. You guessed it after seeing my actions just now, right? Lin Yu smiled faintly. This woman was quite prideful. Yes, but also no. Dan Qingling wanted to retort, forget it, just think about it this way. I just want to say that I also know this pattern, so I can find Hai Zhu very quickly. Therefore, our cooperation doesn't mean that I'm taking advantage of you. I see. Then how do we cooperate? Seeing that Lin Yu could finally speak properly, Shan Qingling's pretty face also had a hint of a smile. We have also decided internally that we can share the ocean pearls that we collect. Out of the 4 positions, you and I will each take one. Lin Yuan too. Lin Yu interrupted him. Lin Yuan, who was next to Lin Yu, did not speak, as if he was a pet, and stayed obediently by Lin Yu's side. However, Shan Qingling did not dare to underestimate him at all. I made a mistake just now. The 3 of us have also been decided internally. Out of the 4 spots, we will take 3 and kick the others out. Lin Yu nodded. I have the same intention, but what should I do? Shan Qingling continued. There are 2 strategies. One is that we act separately and continue to collect ocean pearls. 2 is that we support each other. Once someone snatches the ocean pearls, we will immediately cooperate. For example, Su Longxiang and Mu Zhantian just now. If we had cooperated from the beginning, we could have taken them down. What you said makes sense. Lin Yu roughly understood that it meant to form a team and fight with others. He naturally had no opinion, but the premise was that Lin Yu did not like equal cooperation. We can cooperate, but I have a request, Lin Yu said simply and directly. Shan Qingling's face changed slightly, as long as it's not too excessive. I want your ocean pearls, all of them. Lin Yu interrupted her. Impossible. Shan Qingling's bright eyes frowned tightly. Even her usual cold appearance was angry at this moment. You are too much. If you want to cooperate, you should trust your teammates. Don't hide it from me. Lin Yu looked up. Shan Qingling should have 8 ocean pearls. It was not a lot, but it was not little either. With Shan Qingling's ocean pearls, Lin Yu could compete with Tai Jian. I can accept other requests, but not this one. Shan Qingling rejected Lin Yu again. Other requests? What if I want to remove your chastity sand? Lin Yu sized Shan Qingling up. He did not like this kind of high and mighty woman. Most of them needed to be conquered by men. How dare you? Shan Qingling was completely furious. She shifted her body and pulled away from Lin Yu. She was guarding against Lin Yu. So you don't trust me? Then this cooperation is not very meaningful. You can leave. Lin Yu shook his head, slightly disappointed. Shan Qingling just said coldly, all crows in the world are black. I was wrong. It turns out that you are no different from others. You are too much. With that, she turned around and disappeared in front of Lin Yu and Lin Yuan. Lin Yu looked at Lin Yuan innocently. Am I too much? With that said, Lin Yu raised his hand and motioned Lin Yuan to take out his ocean pearls. Not too much. Lin Yuan shook his head and took out an ocean pearl in a daze. He was proving his words. Since they were partners, there was no problem in taking out his ocean pearl to give to Lin Yu. However, looking at the lonely ocean pearl, Lin Yu couldn't help but twitch his old face. Just one? Master, I don't know the rules of this trial field. Lin Yuan looked innocent. It was not that he didn't want to look for it, but after searching blindly for a long time, there was only one ocean pearl. And the 36 constellations mentioned by Lin Yu and Shan Qingling, how would he know what they were? Well, let's continue to collect. Lin Yu told Lin Yuan several directions. Now they are racing against time. Lin Yu, there were not many ocean pearls left here. According to Lin Yu's estimation, there were at most 108 ocean pearls, which just corresponded to the 36 Tian-gang constellations and the 72 Earth Fiend constellations. And what Shan Qingling comprehended from him was only the 36 Tian-gang constellations. Lin Yu's speed was faster than others, and he once again surpassed the third-place Zhuge Lingyun. Tai Jian had the most now, 23 ocean pearls. The second was Situ Xiu with 20 ocean pearls. The speed of these two people was very fast, followed by Lin Yu with 19 ocean pearls. The fourth-place Zhuge Lingyun only had 17 ocean pearls. At present, Lin Yu calculated that these people had found a total of 79 ocean pearls. As for the rest, Lin Yuan, Mu Zhantian, Su Longxiang, and Shan Qingling had a total of 23 ocean pearls. According to Lin Yu's estimation, there were only 6 ocean pearls left. Chapter 768. Sure enough, with Lin Yu leading Lin Yuan, they found 2 more pearls. A few hours later, Shan Qingling also had 3 more pearls, and the last one was taken away by Su Longxiang. Right now, Shan Qingling's sea pearls were ranked 5th. She had 11 sea pearls. I have to think of a way. Lin Yu glanced at Lin Yuan's ranking. He only had 4 pearls, and he helped him find them. At this moment, Lin Yuan was the same as Su Longxiang, who was injured by him, ranked 7th and 8th with only 4 pearls. While Lin Yu was thinking, he heard the fluctuations of a fierce battle. He and Lin Yuan had already arrived at the edge of the battlefield. Before they got close, they could see 2 figures displaying their magical powers. The man was Mu Zhantian, who was at the first level of the 4 symbols stage. The woman was Shan Qingling. There was only one woman here. Lin Yu smiled faintly. Shan Qingling, who had a steady character before, was actually fighting with someone? Moreover, there were a few other people nearby as well. Tai Jian, Situ Xiu, and Zhuge Lingyun all saw him. There was also Su Longxiang, who had a broken right arm. At this moment, when he saw Lin Yu from afar, his eyes instantly turned scarlet, and a fierce killing intent appeared on his face. "Damn it, don't fall into my hands," Su Longxiang said. Lin Yu looked over, thinking that the other party was going to fight him to the death. However, in the next moment, Su Longxiang turned around and ran away. Lin Yu? When Lin Yu arrived, the outcome of the battle below had also been decided. Shan Qingling's shoulder was hit by Mu Zhantian's palm, and she retreated more than 100 feet. At this moment, a large number of talismans were rotating around Mu Zhantian's body. These talismans seemed to have a life of their own. On each of them, there was a mournful roar, as if a large number of ghosts were sealed inside. The surrounding battlefield was also a bit gloomy because of Mu Zhantian's attack. The 22nd Sea Lord is only SOSO. Mu Zhantian sneered and bowed to Tai Jian and the others. Can I be ranked 4th now? Tai Jian nodded and looked at Situ Xiu and Zhuge Lingyun. Do the 2 of you have any objections? No. Tai Jian smiled with satisfaction. That's good. Then Mu Zhantian will be ranked 4th, I will be 1st, Brother Situ will be 2nd, and Zhuge Lingyun will be 3rd. These people had actually decided on 4 spots to advance to the next round. As soon as Tai Jian finished speaking, he saw Shan Qingling. Hand over Haiju, and we can leave your corpse intact. Tai Jian's cold voice sounded, causing Shan Qingling's back to turn cold. These young geniuses were vicious and did not leave any room for negotiation. They had already decided that 4 of them would advance, but at the same time, they had also sentenced the other 4 to death. Apart from the 4 of them, everyone else had to die. It would be a pity to kill such a beautiful woman. Situ Xiu rubbed his chin and looked at Shan Qingling greedily. Situ Xiu, don't forget about our business. When have we not had women? Tai Jian snorted. Situ Xiu shook his head helplessly. Sigh. I just haven't played with an Ocean Lord's woman. This woman suddenly became the Ocean Lord because her father died. In fact, she's similar to Fan Jinjin from the 6th Ocean. Zhuge Lingyun said. Brother Zhuge is right. Shan Qingling, Haiju, do you want to hand it over yourself, or do you want me to search you? Mu Zhantian sneered and approached Shan Qingling. He was about to attack. The four of them discussed among themselves as if they did not care about the others at all. Shan Qingling, on the other hand, was clenching her teeth. These people were in cahoots with each other and were very powerful. She was no match for them. At first, the four of them had surrounded her, saying that they wanted her to fight with Mu Zhantian to choose the fourth person. However, Shan Qingling knew that they were just trying to humiliate her as the Ocean Lord. I won't give it to you even if I die, Shan Qingling said angrily. She glanced at Lin Yu and dodged Mu Zhantian's attack. Then, she went to Lin Yu's side. You still want to run? Can you run? Mu Zhantian sneered and saw Lin Yu behind Shan Qingling. Lin Yuan was also with them. Big brothers, the troublesome people are here. Mu Zhantian was naturally timid. How could he deal with Lin Yu and Lin Yuan by himself? He immediately stood together with the other three people behind him. Troublesome people, are they worthy? Forget it, since 4 people have been chosen, let's just grab Haiju. It makes sense, Lin Yu's ranking is actually higher than mine. I don't like him. As Zhuge Lingyun's voice fell, the 4 of them were about to attack. Are we going to fight? Lin Yu raised the corners of his mouth. This seems to be more convenient. Let's end this quickly. Lin Yuan also nodded, eager to try. He is not a human being, and his body is full of the fighting spirit of a monster beast. It is easier for him to become stronger in a fight and stimulate his blood. Therefore, even if he is facing more opponents, Lin Yuan is more excited. However, Shan Qingling, who was worried that she would be surrounded by them, flashed her storage ring, and a glass bead appeared in her hand. She crushed the bead and threw it out in an instant. A white smoke burst out in an instant, spreading hundreds of feet, and engulfing all their figures in an instant. Let's go. Shan Qingling turned around and pulled Lin Yu's hand without hesitation. Seeing this, Lin Yuan was worried about Lin Yu's safety, so he also gave up the desire to fight and followed them. Situ Xiu unsheathed the long sword in his hand, and the sword turned into 1,000 blades, throwing away all the white smoke. Damn it, where are they? Zhuge Lingyun, Mu Zhantian, and others' faces were extremely gloomy. They actually ran away. The monk can run away, but the temple can't run away. The volcano trial field is only so big. Are you afraid that they will run out? Tai Jian looked at the time. According to reason, they can go out in 10 hours. At this moment, the volcano trial field was restricted by the Venerable. No one can go out until the time is up. Brother Tai is most familiar with this place. After all, this is the territory of the First Sea. Do you know where they will hide? Situ Xiu asked. Tai Jian narrowed his eyes slightly. They have now reached a consensus, so there is no need to snatch the sea pearls anymore. Killing the others directly and snatching all the sea pearls and treasures in the storage rings is the most beneficial. As for the consequences, all the strong people only care about the results. Who cares about the consequences? Yes, Shan Qingling was injured by me, so she can't run far. And that Su Longxiang, I don't know where he went. Find him and kill him together. Mu Zhantian snorted coldly. Heal. Then they have to find a place to hide. If I remember correctly, there are a total of 7 caves. We will look for them one by one. Tai Jian pondered and said 7 directions at the same time. Let's look for them together. The 4 people divided into 4 groups, and the battle of the volcano trial field officially began. Chapter 769. In the distance, Shan Qingling pulled Lin Yu and flew at high speed. Blood flowed out from the corner of her mouth. She couldn't continue running. However, she knew that Tai Jian and the others wouldn't give up. This is for you. Shan Qingling gritted her teeth and gave all the sea pearls in her hands to Lin Yu. In an instant, Lin Yu had 30 pearls and rushed to the first place. Tai Jian and the others saw the change and their faces turned gloomy. You must find them and die. Shan Qingling, that bitch's pearls are all gone. She gave them all to Lin Yu. Bastard, I won't have a chance to enter the top 4. Mu Zhantian was furious. Lin Yu was number 1. Tai Jian, Situ Xiu, and Zhuge Lingyun, these 3 people combined, already swept the top 4. He still had a place to stand. This is my sincerity. We're partners now. Shan Qingling said weakly. She had slowed down. You're badly injured, Lin Yu said calmly. It was as if he was just saying something boring without any emotion. Hearing this, Shan Qingling turned her face away. It's none of your business. You just need to know that we're partners. I don't care about the rest. You have to let the 3 of us enter the top 4. Are you so shameless? Lin Yu spread his hands and carried her. What are you doing? Shan Qingling's face turned pale. She didn't know if it was because Lin Yu carried her or because she was injured. It was her first time being in contact with a man. She immediately shouted, "Put me down. What are you doing? Don't move if you want to live. You're as slow as a tortoise now. Are you afraid that Tai Jian can't find us? You're the tortoise." Shan Qingling's blood boiled after hearing Lin Yu's words, but she couldn't refute. Because the moment she was picked up by Lin Yu, the 3 people's flying speed increased by more than 2 times. It turned out that Lin Yu and Lin Yuan were cooperating with her speed just now. You guys are so fast. Lin Yu's face twitched. Don't call a man fast. That's impolite. How is it impolite? Just as Dan Qingling was about to retort, she thought of the second meaning of Lin Yu's words. She immediately blushed and turned her face away, no longer looking at Lin Yu. However, she did not resist and allowed Lin Yu to hold her in his arms. She could feel Lin Yu's strong body on this man's arm. Even though they were moving at high speed, they didn't feel any bumps at all. This man was very steady. No, what am I thinking? He's a scumbag just like Tai Jian and the others. Dan Qingling imagined for a long time. Lin Yu found the first cave. Lin Yu originally intended to let Dan Qingling rest and heal her injuries, but to be on the safe side, he didn't stop there. He changed direction and found the second cave. Only then did he put Dan Qingling down. Master, I'll guard outside. Lin Yuan stopped outside the cave and only let Lin Yu carry Dan Qingling into the cave. This cave was naturally formed. There was a big stone in the middle, but it was angular and not suitable for lying down. Lin Yu casually waved his finger and unleashed a sword chi. The sword chi split a large rock and formed a simple stone bed. Only then did he put Dan Qingling down. Looking at this scene, Dan Qingling couldn't help but feel warm in her heart. This man seems to be quite considerate. But before she could think too much, Dan Qingling spat out a mouthful of blood. She only felt an unbearable pain in her shoulder, and when she gritted her teeth, she also saw black blood oozing out of her shoulder. It was her blood, but it had turned dark at the moment. Are you poisoned? On Mu Zhantian's talisman, there is a lot of corpse toxins, and Tai Jian's body is known as the 2 most poisonous powerhouses in the boundless sea. Dan Qingling said a sentence, then got up and sat cross-legged. She took out some medicinal pills from the storage ring and took them. That's it? Lin Yu felt that something was wrong, but he didn't stop the other party. However, when the medicinal pills took effect, Dan Qingling felt even more pain, and a thick black mist emerged from her shoulder. Why is this happening? Dan Qingling shouted out in pain. Lin Yuan, who was outside the cave, heard this voice and walked a few steps away silently. Lin Yu shook his head helplessly. Nonsense, if you don't get the poison out first, wouldn't taking the medicinal pills increase the poison's nutrients? Now your injury is even worse. How do you know this? Dan Qingling looked at Lin Yu in surprise. That's not right. Since you knew it, why didn't you stop me? You did it on purpose. Dan Qingling was so angry, it was equivalent to Lin Yu watching her jump into the fire pit. You didn't ask me. Lin Yu looked innocent and said again, What's more, I am not sure if you trust me completely. I gave you all the sea pearls, Dan Qingling explained. Okay, that's just a trick for you to get away. To be precise, it's a trick for you to drag me into the water and pull me into the same boat as you. Lin Yu's eyes were deep and he smiled faintly. Now that I have become the first, those people will definitely see me as a thorn in their side, so you are tricking me. Dan Qingling endured the severe pain. Although Lin Yu was right, she still wanted to refute. I didn't expect you to be such a coward. I let you get the first place, but you are afraid of Tai Jian, then return the sea pearls to me. The things that are in my, Lin Yu's, hands will never be taken back by others. Lin Yu pressed Dan Qingling on the stone bed. Okay, you are the 22nd Sea Lord, what else can you do other than provoking me? Do you have a way to help me heal? Dan Qingling was no longer stubborn, the pain on her shoulder was increasing, and her forehead was already sweating. Her consciousness was also beginning to blur. Once she fell asleep, Dan Qingling knew that she had no hope of winning the sequence battle this time. The method is simple, take it off. Lin Yu pointed at her shoulder and said calmly. What? Dan Qingling's eyes widened. Why do I have to take it off? The poison has been injected into your shoulder, I have to suck it out first, otherwise you are dead. Suck it out. Dan Qingling's bright eyes flickered. You're not lying to me? You can choose not to believe it. Lin Yu spread his hands, looking as if it had nothing to do with him. After a long time, Dan Qingling couldn't bear the pain and she closed her eyes. She slowly pulled down the sling on her right shoulder. Although the wound was black, it was only the size of a small fist. More than that, Lin Yu saw the extreme collarbone and fair skin. This woman was a few years older than Fan Jinjin, but her skin was elastic. Lin Yu pressed her shoulder and locked on to the location of the poison. He buried his head in Dan Qingling's shoulder. Dan Qingling exclaimed and subconsciously grabbed Lin Yu's clothes. Chapter 770. Time passed slowly. Outside, Tai Jian and the other three had finished searching the 4 caves. Mu Zhantian came out from the first cave that Lin Yu gave up. I don't have any here either. Out of the 7 caves, 4 were empty. Could it be that they didn't hide in the caves? Impossible. Shan Qingling is injured and they are being chased by us. They can't be in the open. They must have found a place to hide. Seems like they should be in the remaining 3 caves. Tai Jian judged and locked on to another direction. Lin Yu raised his head from Shan Qingling's shoulder. Are you done? The pain had obviously lessened and Shan Qingling's consciousness was clear again. But the clearer her consciousness was, the more embarrassed Shan Qingling felt at this moment. She had taken off her shoulder and let a man suck on her skin for several hours. If the people of the 22 Seas knew about this, where would she put her face as the Ocean Lord? What do you think? Lin Yu asked. Shan Qingling's pretty face recovered and was already rosy. There seems to be a little more. Why ask when you know? Lin Yu said indifferently. Shan Qingling pursed her lips and cursed Lin Yu in her heart. I'm being taken advantage of by you. What's wrong with asking? Why is this man so annoying? Shan Qingling looked and saw Lin Yu sucking the poison out of her body seriously. Although it made her feel ashamed, Lin Yu was indeed treating the place where the poison had spread. But Lin Yu didn't tell her at first. Shan Qingling took the pill hastily, which caused the poison to spread even more. Be gentle, Shan Qingling said softly and nodded again. She had always been a high and mighty goddess. In the past, she was the pearl of the 22 Ocean Lords. Like Fan Jinjin, she was the moon surrounded by stars. But Shan Qingling's life wasn't as good as Fan Jinjin's. Her father died and she supported the 22 Seas on her own. It was this kind of noble birth and unapproachable personality that made no man enter Shan Qingling's eyes. However, Shan Qingling felt something she had never felt before in front of Lin Yu. Are you alright? I became very strange. Shan Qingling asked in a pleading tone. Her cultivation was not strong, and she had bumped into many obstacles along the way. In this sequence battle, she was bullied just like she was a few hours ago. If they hadn't met Lin Yu, Shan Qingling would have been caught by them already. Thinking of this, Shan Qingling subconsciously placed her hands on Lin Yu's shoulders. But with this touch, that strange feeling swam through her body even more. It seems like the law of lightning is on me. What Shan Qingling wanted to say was that she felt as if she had been electrocuted. Lin Yu naturally knew what the situation was, but now was not the time to be entangled in such matters between men and women. There were still 4 strong enemies outside waiting for him to kill them. After absorbing all the poison, Lin Yu withdrew his mouth from Shan Qingling. Shan Qingling remained silent for a long time and only spoke after Lin Yu left. "Thank you." Shan Qingling immediately put on her clothes. The scene just now still lingered in her mind and was unforgettable. "It's about time. You should be able to recover in a few hours after taking the pill." After all, it wasn't an internal injury, but more of a poison. Therefore, Shan Qingling was only left with some minor injuries now that the poison was gone. Lin Yu also wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. "I understand." Shan Qingling didn't dare to delay. She immediately took the pill to recover her combat strength as soon as possible. At the same time, she said, "They should be here soon. We can't hide here for long." Of course. This is the territory of the First Sea. Tai Jian should be very familiar with it. Lin Yu also knew that it was only a matter of time before Tai Jian and the others found them. At this moment, there was a sound coming from outside. Lin Yuan knew that the sound inside had stopped. He judged that the 2 were done and walked in. "Master, Su Longxiang passed by just now. He saw you." Lin Yuan nodded. "I was worried that if I stopped him, it would cause a bigger fluctuation, so I didn't kill him. Well, that kid has a grudge against me. It seems that he has brought people here now." Lin Yu smiled. He had no intention of moving his position. Looking at this scene, Shan Qingling was a little stunned. She heard clearly that Lin Yuan just called Lin Yu master? What an ambiguous title. Could it be that this man likes men, so he is so fierce to me? Thinking of this, Shan Qingling couldn't help but shiver. Lin Yu didn't know that she was thinking about this. Shan Qingling said, "You guys go quickly, otherwise Tai Jian will not let you go. When I recover, I will find a way to escape." But after Shan Qingling finished speaking, she saw that Lin Yu didn't respond. "Are you planning to fight Tai Jian head-on?" She was surprised. Why did he face Tai Jian and the other 4 symbol state? But Lin Yu gave her the feeling that he had the kind of strategizing and even looked forward to fighting. There was also Lin Yuan. There was a kind of tyrannical and violent aura on his body, as if it was not an aura that a human could have at all. It was more like the violence of a monster beast. "Aren't you afraid at all?" Shan Qingling asked in a dry voice. "What are you afraid of?" Lin Yu raised the corners of his mouth, but he was too lazy to explain more. At first, he went to find others to snatch Haiju. Now that these people delivered themselves to his door, he couldn't be happier. After that, outside the cave, 5 auras suddenly descended. "Su Longxiang, are you sure you didn't see wrong?" "Yes, Brother Taijian, Longxiang only asks you to let me live, that Lin Yu is inside." "Su Longxiang, you have a good plan. You want to live, and you want to borrow our hands to avenge you? Brother Situ, don't laugh at me. Isn't it because you want to deal with Lin Yu?" "Longxiang, this is just a small matter. The sequence battle of the several big brothers is a big deal." Zhuge Lingyun sneered. "Okay, step back, the guy with the broken hand, so as not to hurt you, but is that Lin Yu really so powerful that he can cut off your hand? How can Lin Yu be more powerful than the several big brothers? At that time, I was sneak attacked by him." Su Longxiang said Amitabha with one hand and stomped his feet at the same time, with a look of unwillingness on his face. Mu Zhantian just sneered and didn't speak. At that time, he was present. How could he not know that Lin Yu defeated Su Longxiang fair and square? However, he wouldn't say it out loud, otherwise it would make Tai Jian and the others timid, and he wouldn't be able to achieve his goal. In the current state, he pretended not to know and used the 4 people here to get rid of Lin Yu and his group, and they would be stable in the top 4. This is a big deal. Chapter 771. Lin Yu, get out. The long sword in Situ Xiu's hand swept across, and the sharp sword energy hit the cave, immediately shattering the outer entrance. And the shattered cave entrance was instantly shaken out by a gust of Yao Qi. Gravel shot towards the 5 people. The 5 people narrowed their eyes slightly, and their figures moved at the same time. The gravel smashed into the place where they were originally standing, and it actually smashed out several big pits. The 5 people looked into the cave at the same time. From there, 2 figures slowly walked out. One was Lin Yuan and the other was Lin Yu. It's too risky for them to do this. Shan Qingling also noticed the sound from the cave entrance, and her white teeth clenched tightly. Forget it, my life was saved by him, and I will return it to you. After saying that, Shan Qingling also followed out of the cave house. She didn't guess wrong, the other 5 people all came. Lin Yu, your Haiju, are you going to give it to me yourself, or do you want me to take it? Tai Jian's voice was full of command. The aura of the 4 symbols state surrounded Tai Jian's body, which was the strongest state present. But Lin Yu was not afraid at all, and just spread his hands. Why should I give it to you? Tai Jian sneered, as if he had already regarded Lin Yu as a dead man. If he wasn't afraid of Lin Yuan's combat power, which could kill Jiang Bihan in seconds, he would have taken down Lin Yu and the Haiju in his hands. I have already decided, me, Situ Xiu, Zhuge Lingyun, and Mu Zhantian are the winners this time. Tai Jian's overbearing words came, and at the same time, he stared coldly at Lin Yu, like an eagle staring at its prey. Lin Yu, do you have any opinion? As his voice fell, the 5 people burst out with tyrannical combat power at the same time. Except for Su Longxiang, the other 4 people all had the combat power of the 4 symbols state. This scene made Shan Qingling's face pale a little more. How can they win against such a strong opponent? She may not even be Mu Zhantian's opponent, but the others were not easy to provoke. In fact, Shan Qingling felt that Tai Jian alone was enough to deal with the 3 of them. Lin Yu, Shan Qingling wanted to persuade Lin Yu to run, but she only saw the calmness on Lin Yu's face. Also, the excitement on Lin Yuan's face. These 2 people are crazy. Shan Qingling was extremely nervous because she knew that the battle would begin at any moment. However, at this moment, facing the 5 powerhouses, Lin Yu only smiled faintly. It was as if he didn't care about the life and death crisis in front of him. You can decide who will win the first battle. Fun, fun. Lin Yu's voice was heard. Everyone narrowed their eyes and heard him say, I also want to decide internally. I will be first, Lin Yuan will be second, and Shan Qingling will be third. What do you think? Impudent. Who do you think you are? You dare to be like Big Brother Tai Jian? Su Longxiang was the first to add insult to injury. Big Brother Tai Jian, if you don't get rid of this kid, where will your face be in the future? Hearing this, Mu Zhantian smiled. He knew that Lin Yu was trying to take advantage of the situation and was probably tired of living. Big Brother Tai Jian, Big Brother Situ, Big Brother Zhuge, did this Lin Yu kick all 3 of you out of the top 3? Mu Zhantian added fuel to the fire. The 3 of them also had a gloomy face, and their expressions revealed killing intent. Tai Jian stared at Lin Yu, and a strange smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. This appearance was something that the others had seen before. That was the look of Tai Jian. Big Brother Tai Jian is angry. This Lin Yu, it seems that not only will he die today, but he will also die very painfully. Everyone sneered. Shan Qingling had just recovered from her injuries, and now she was already a little weak in the face of such a situation. You also want to make the decision? Tai Jian stared at Lin Yu, and his face gradually became ferocious. Why not? Lin Yu smiled slowly, without the slightest fear on his face. Calm. It was a sharp contrast to Tai Jian's anger that could erupt at any time. It was as if one was a flame, and the other was the water of the deep sea, calm and without any undercurrent. In that case, let's see whose words are more useful. After Tai Jian said, he waved his hand, and Situ Xiu and Zhuge Lingyun on the side also nodded. Let's go together. After Mu Zhantian finished shouting, he stared at Shan Qingling. This bitch's injury is actually healed. Did Lin Yu and Lin Yuan heal her? He attacked Shan Qingling. Leave him to me. Shan Qingling also said a few words to Lin Yu, and then faced Mu Zhantian. Even if she felt that she still couldn't win against Mu Zhantian, now that the three of them were facing the biggest enemy in their lives, Shan Qingling knew that she had to contribute. Lin Yuan took the lead to stop the two people. They were the swordsman holding a sword, Situ Xiu, who was at the first level of the four symbols stage, and Zhuge Lingyun. The judge pen in his hand was also ready to attack at any time. Both of you, come together. Lin Yuan hooked his finger, and he actually wanted to fight against two four symbols stage masters alone. Kid, you are too arrogant. Zhuge Lingyun waved the judge pen, and Situ Xiu's sword energy also erupted. Well, let me see how powerful a person with heaven-grade aptitude is. Take my sword. The battle between the two sides broke out in an instant. Lin Yu had a headache. Lin Yuan is actually fighting against two people alone. Isn't that showing off? Hey, there are only two of you left, come together. Lin Yu raised his eyebrows and looked at Tai Jian and Su Longxiang, who was still watching. What an arrogant kid! Su Longxiang snorted coldly, but how could he dare to fight against Lin Yu? Instead, he immediately looked at Tai Jian. Brother Tai Jian, I am not his opponent. I am afraid you have to deal with this kid? But after he finished speaking, Tai Jian remained motionless. What is this situation? Tai Jian didn't move, and Lin Yu didn't really make a move. Is it the realm where the enemy doesn't move and I don't move? Su Longxiang was taken aback. Is this a fight between masters? But he didn't know that Tai Jian's heart was full of doubts at this moment. On the one hand, Lin Yuan really blocked Situ Xiu and Zhuge Lingyun with his own strength. On the other hand, Lin Yu's indifferent feeling throughout the whole process was definitely not an act. In addition to the number of sea pearls he had at the moment, Tai Jian was sure that Lin Yu also saw the 36 constellations and the 72 earth fiends. Then this kid is as smart as me. Such a person would not be stupid enough to provoke me like this. Is this kid hiding his strength? Tai Jian thought of this and decided not to make a move, but wait for Lin Yuan to be defeated first, and then use the most reliable 3-on-1 strategy to kill Lin Yu. Brother Tai Jian, Su Longxiang asked again. Since you don't dare to face Lin Yu, then go and help the two of them. Tai Jian signaled with his eyes. After Su Longxiang understood, he saw that Lin Yuan, Situ Xiu, and Zhuge Lingyun were fighting with all their strength. A tyrannical demonic energy erupted from Lin Yuan's body, surrounding Lin Yuan's body, forming an indestructible force. Even Situ Xiu's sword energy was directly received by Lin Yuan with his bare hands several times. Not to mention the slightly weaker Zhuge Lingyun. Chapter 772. Damn it, my attack is useless against him? While Zhuge Lingyun was surprised, Lin Yuan's burly body had already punched him. Zhuge Lingyun blocked in front of him with the judge pen. However, under Lin Yuan's punch, this earth-grade killing weapon was directly broken. What kind of power is this? Zhuge Lingyun's eyes widened, and he took a few steps back to stand firm. However, at this moment, when Lin Yuan's attention was on the two people in front of him, Su Longxiang took off his Buddhist beads. When the Buddhist beads were taken off, they twisted and turned into gloomy white skulls. Black gas filled the air, and the skeletal Buddhist beads were hidden inside, bursting toward Lin Yuan at an extremely fast speed. Die for me. Although the person Su Longxiang wanted to kill the most was Lin Yu, now that Tai Jian didn't make a move, how could he dare to deal with Lin Yu by himself? It would be better to join forces to kill Lin Yuan here first, and then a group of people would fight Lin Yu together. That way, Lin Yu would die without a doubt. However, Su Longxiang thought that he would be able to hit Lin Yuan with the skeletal Buddhist beads, but they stopped in mid-air. In front of the black fog, a huge golden Buddhist bell appeared. Taishu 8 divisions, Buddha Jiala. Lin Yu appeared in the Buddhist bell without anyone noticing. He raised his hand and slowly lowered it, and the black fog in front of him dissipated instantly. Golden light burst out with a purifying power, and directly shattered all the skeletal Buddhist beads. It was as if Lin Yu's Buddhism was orthodox, and it was specially used to restrain Su Longxiang's heretical path. Boom, boom, boom. The skeletal Buddhist beads exploded one after another. Su Longxiang's face changed drastically, and the power of the backlash poured into his body, causing Su Longxiang to spit out a mouthful of old blood. Another move. This time, he and Lin Yu only exchanged one move, and he was directly defeated. When Su Longxiang was about to escape, he saw a terrifying suction force locking his whole body. The moment this suction force appeared, Su Longxiang had no chance to resist. His body was completely trapped, and his whole body flew backward toward Lin Yu. Devouring the starry sky, Lin Yu said slowly. This time, he would not let Su Longxiang escape. The suction force of the devouring starry sky was hundreds of times stronger than his soul-devouring grand art. Furthermore, the soul-devouring grand art could only be used on opponents whose divine wills were damaged and weaker than his own. However, the devouring starry sky was different. Lin Yu could clearly feel that this supernatural power could purify Su Longxiang's cultivation and make it his own. It was even more tyrannical than the fusion symbol between his eyebrows. No, no. Su Longxiang's face was filled with horror. He could clearly feel that all of his strength was being sucked away by Lin Yu. This feeling was as if his blood was being sucked dry. With every breath he took, Su Longxiang felt himself getting weaker. Let me go, let me go. My prayer beads are all yours. Lin Yu was too lazy to pay attention to him. He had already let Su Longxiang escape once, and this time, the other party was still courting death. Then they couldn't blame him. In the blink of an eye, Su Longxiang's entire body fell to the ground. There was no sign of life left, and he was deader than dead. Lin Yu could feel that his power had become stronger again. The three elements become one equilibrium realm seems to have reached the critical point. Lin Yu could feel that he could break through to the four symbols realm at any time. Back then, when he was in the Sky Desert universe, Lin Yu already had this feeling. However, at that time, the Sky Desert universe was damaged and did not have enough energy to let him break through to the four symbols realm. But it was different here. The boundless sea, even the realm sea, primitive continent, and heaven domain. The world power here was thousands of times stronger than the Sky Desert universe. Not only that, without Ling Zhao's surveillance here, Lin Yu judged that it should not attract lightning tribulation anymore. Shaking off Su Longxiang, Lin Yu looked at Tai Jian. At this moment, Tai Jian's back was already inexplicably cold. This Lin Yu. He was definitely not an ordinary person. Tai Jian suddenly realized that Lin Yu's strength had already exceeded his understanding. He could not even feel the other party's cultivation. Could it be because the gap between him and Lin Yu was too big, so big that Tai Jian could not sense the other party's cultivation? It's your turn. He calmly took away Su Longxiang's 4 sea pearls and Su Longxiang's storage ring. Lin Yu's current sea pearls had already reached 34. The people outside could not see inside, but they could see the sea pearls ranking. Crazy, crazy, Why does that kid have so many sea pearls? How did he do it? There are so many heaven's prides inside. Could no one snatch his sea pearls? The second sea region's Situ Jingtian and the fourth sea region's Bai Yanlang were incomparably astonished. Even Fan Tong and Xiao Yinyao were a little shocked. They knew that Lin Yu had hidden his strength and had means to protect himself inside. But they did not expect that Lin Yu would directly rush to first place. Moreover, he had 34 sea pearls, 11 more than Tai Jian. In other words, Lin Yu crushed everyone. Tai Jian, who was in second place, was left in the dust by him. Why? At this moment, Fire Buddha's roar could be heard. He stared at Su Longxiang's ranking. There were 4 sea pearls just now. Why was there none left now? And Lin Yu just happened to have 4 more. Su Longxiang's sea pearls were snatched by Lin Yu? Damn, Su Longxiang is an expert of the 9th Tao equilibrium state. He's only 1 step away from the 4 divisions state. How did Lin Yu snatch his sea pearls? What's going on inside the volcano trial grounds? I really want to know. Fire Buddha walked over to Fan Tong. What did you make Lin Yu do to our Longxiang? Watch your words. What can 2 men do? Fan Tong snorted. Now that Lin Yu was strong, it meant that the others were more dissatisfied with him. But Fan Tong was happy because this was what it felt like to be envied. He had never experienced it in his life, but today Lin Yu had given him a taste of it. The trial grounds are all about fairness. What did Lin Yu do to you, Su Longxiang? Fan Tong raised an eyebrow at Grand Preceptor 1. The first Ocean Lord said that everything is fair, and the Supremacy's divine sense is overseeing it. Fire Buddha, are you doubting the Supremacy and Grand Preceptor 1? Grand Preceptor 1 had wanted to test Fan Tong because Lin Yu had surpassed Tai Jian. Who knew that Fan Tong would be the first to point the spear at him? This left Grand Preceptor 1 speechless. Hearing Fan Tong use the Supremacy's name to pressure others, Fire Buddha could only swallow his anger. On the other side, the disciples of the 22 Seas were also worried. They didn't have an Ocean Lord overseeing the trial grounds. They were the weakest group, and their Ocean Lord, Shan Qingling, had her sea pearls returned to 0 a few hours ago. Within the volcano trial grounds, Lin Yu slowly approached Tai Jian. Your turn? What is your cultivation level, sir? Tai Jian's expression didn't change, but his right foot took a small step back. Chapter 773. Tai Jian was going to run away. Lin Yu noticed this small movement and raised his hand. However, before he could raise his hand, Tai Jian turned around and ran away without hesitation. With his cultivation base of 4-symbol stage, Lin Yu could defeat him, but it would be difficult to make him stay from such a long distance. He ran so fast? Lin Yu looked helplessly in Lin Yuan's direction. Situ Xiu's sword energy was suppressed by Lin Yuan, and Zhuge Lingyun's combat power was reduced by a lot without the judge's pen. It seems that you don't need my help. Lin Yu looked to the other side again. Shan Qingling was once again beaten back by Mu Zhantian. Although there were no new injuries on her shoulder, because of the big movements in the battle, it seemed to have affected the wound again, and a touch of dark red seeped out. But when Mu Zhantian beat back Shan Qingling, he also saw that the situation was not good. Su Longxiang was dead. Tai Jian ran away? He was not a fool, and of course, he knew that something was wrong. Without thinking, he immediately turned around and planned to leave this place. However, he was still too slow, and a hand pressed on his shoulder. Have you heard of this saying? The first person to do it is a genius, and those who follow suit are all fools. Lin Yu's calm voice came, like an emissary from hell. Mu Zhantian's forehead was covered in cold sweat. He had seen Lin Yu defeat Su Longxiang, and even cut off one of Su Longxiang's arms. He couldn't deal with this person. Let's forget about today's matter, let me go. Mu Zhantian braced himself and said, and his figure moved a dozen steps away. Nonsense, who wants to forget about it with you? Lin Yu raised the corner of his mouth. When he patted Mu Zhan Tian's shoulder, his blood-sacrifice heart had already entered the other party's body. No, we can't let the tiger return to the mountain. Shan Qingling also saw that Lin Yu's side had won. She didn't have time to think and was about to chase after Mu Zhan Tian. No need to chase. Why, maybe he will sneak attack us. He's already dead. However, at that moment, Shan Qingling saw Lin Yu slowly raise his hand and casually point at the air. This was triggered by the blood-sacrifice heart refinement. Shan Qingling looked 1,000 feet away and saw the black dot that had shrunk to the size of an ant suddenly explode into a bloody mist. That was... Mu Zhan Tian had self-detonated right in front of her. What happened? Shan Qingling was stunned. Not only was Lin Yu able to drive Tai Jian away, but he had also killed Su Longxiang. But now, was he able to insta-kill Mu Zhan Tian with a single finger? That was a four symbols realm powerhouse. Shan Qingling stared blankly at Lin Yu. Lin Yu had already returned from where Mu Zhan Tian's corpse was, and he even brought Mu Zhan Tian's storage ring. Do you have a handkerchief? Lin Yu asked calmly. It was as if he had just picked up an item, and the blood stains on the storage ring and the self-detonation of Mu Zhan Tian had nothing to do with him. Yes. You? How did you kill him? Shan Qingling only felt that the whole world had been turned upside down. She suddenly realized that she had hit the jackpot. This partner of hers was so strong that it was ridiculous. Receiving the handkerchief from Shan Qingling, Lin Yu wiped Mu Zhan Tian's storage ring clean, and at the same time, he took away his 10 ocean pearls. Now, Lin Yu's ocean pearls had reached 44. Once again, he pulled away from the rest of the people on the ocean pearl list, and the outside world was once again in an uproar. Even in a forbidden area of the First Sea region. Supremacy Wuya also opened his eyes. The person above the heaven grade is him. The Supremacy's figure disappeared, and when he reappeared, he was already above the volcano trial ground. He looked down below. His divine sense enveloped the entire place. At the beginning, he only left behind his divine sense to count the ocean pearls. And now, he was truly surveying the entire place. And Lin Yu below also felt the arrival of a brand new divine sense. That so-called supremacy came personally to see. The corners of Lin Yu's mouth raised. After dealing with the others, he also saw Situ Xiu and Zhuge Lingyun, who were repeatedly beaten back by Lin Yuan. Damn it, why did Tai Jian leave? That bastard betrayed us, and he was actually beaten back by Lin Yu? The two of them were furious, but at this moment, they had consumed a lot of energy. We can't continue, retreat. However, just as they were about to retreat, they were blocked by two figures. Since we made a move, we have to leave something behind. Lin Yu smiled shyly, making Situ Xiu and Zhuge Lingyun tremble in their hearts. With Tai Jian's reaction, these two people didn't underestimate the enemy. Of course, they knew how terrifying Lin Yu was. This kid was not too weak, but they couldn't see through his cultivation. Ocean pearls, all for you. Zhuge Lingyun gritted his teeth and threw out his 17 ocean pearls without thinking. Lin Yu held them with one hand, and the ocean pearl list changed again. Now, Lin Yu already had 61 ocean pearls, and the third Sea Lord was not calm in the outside world. What's going on? What's going on? What happened inside? Calm down, Sea Lord, the Venerable is already here, and he will uphold justice. It's Lin Yu again, what the hell did this kid do inside? The third Sea Lord forcibly suppressed the anger in his heart. The Venerable was still observing the situation in the sky, so he naturally didn't dare to move. Not only him, but even Grand Preceptor One and the others were also restless from just now, but now all of them were silent. Venerable Wuyao was the god of the boundless sea. If he didn't speak, how could others dare to act rashly? The ocean pearls have been taken, but can the people stay? Above the volcano trial field, an incomparably solemn voice suddenly came. Lin Yu, Shan Qingling, Lin Yuan, and the others also heard this sentence. Even Tai Jian, who was hiding in the cave thousands of miles away, also had a change in expression. Venerable, did the Venerable come to stop Lin Yu? He did not expect that the matter here actually startled the Venerable. But looking at the Ocean Pearls list again, Lin Yu's Ocean Pearls were abnormally high. This matter startling the Venerable was also something within reason. Lin Yu, this is the Venerable's voice. Shan Qingling's expression was solemn. She did not expect that the Venerable would intervene in this trial field's matters. I'm already number 1, what use do I have for the Ocean Pearls? The corners of Lin Yu's mouth curled up, and his figure actually appeared in front of Zhuge Lingyun, a punch rumbling out. This scene happened too quickly, even Zhuge Lingyun and Situ Xiu could not see Lin Yu's move clearly. However, Lin Yu's punch still erupted. Lin Yu directly hit Zhuge Lingyun's chest. The latter flew out backward, his figure smashing heavily onto the ground. They are my boundless sea's future hope. The Venerable's voice came over once more. Seemingly talking to everyone, but in reality it was just talking to Lin Yu. Shan Qingling was nervous until she could not move. She never would have thought that Lin Yu would actually not give the Venerable face. This man was really fierce. Turns out that the boundless sea's hope is nothing more than this. Why don't you take a look at his hand? The corners of Lin Yu's mouth curled up, not feeling that he was wrong in the slightest. He landed beside Zhuge Lingyun and stepped on the other party's right hand with one foot. On that right hand, a golden needle seemingly fell out. This golden needle was only the length of a finger and was concealed extremely deeply. If not for face-to-face coupled with extremely powerful insight, it was simply hard to detect. But the reality was that this golden needle was already sandwiched between Zhuge Lingyun's 2 fingers, clearly ready to shoot out at any time. It was just that Zhuge Lingyun did not have the chance anymore. Venerable boundless divine sense swept over. Detecting the existence of the golden needle, he could not say a third sentence for a long time too. Zhuge Lingyun actually still wanted to sneak attack Lin Yu just now? The evidence was irrefutable, and he was now counter-killed by Lin Yu. Similarly, even Venerable Boundless' face was slapped. After dealing with Zhuge Lingyun, Lin Yu slowly turned around. Situ Xiu held the killing longsword in his hand. He wanted to escape, but he was stopped by Lin Yuan and Shan Qingling first. It's your turn. Bullying with numbers, what kind of ability is that? Situ Xiu's back was already drenched. What the hell was Lin Yu's move just now? Killing Zhuge Lingyun with one punch? This person is ridiculously strong. He immediately thought of Tai Jian's escape. That guy ran away because he knew that he couldn't beat Lin Yu. But he could run away, but he and Zhuge Lingyun would die here. It makes sense. Bullying with numbers is wrong. Lin Yu smiled faintly. Then how do you want to die? Chapter 774. I don't want to die. Situ Xiu's face and back were full of sweat. He originally planned to talk to Lin Yu openly. Ganging up on him wasn't enough. 1 versus 1 was enough. But Situ Xiu thought about it. Even if it was 1 versus 1 in his current state, he knew that he was not Lin Yu's opponent. Could he shamelessly say that he wanted to fight with Shan Qingling? Wait, I want to fight with Shan Qingling one-on-one. Situ Xiu braced himself and said, raising his sword and rushing towards Shan Qingling. If you have the ability, come 1 by 1, don't fight 3 against 1. Situ Xiu shouted, and Shan Qingling, who was in the other direction, saw him rushing directly towards her, and her heart trembled. The sword energy came along with the crisis at the same time, and Shan Qingling was in a defensive state. But the next moment, a figure appeared above Situ Xiu's head. This figure was so fast that it surpassed Situ Xiu's speed, and directly punched down. The tyrannical fist force was accompanied by a dragon roar that resounded through the sky, forming 100 feet of glorious chi fluctuation in the air. And this punch landed squarely on Situ Xiu. Crack! Crack! Situ Xiu only felt that all the bones in his body were broken at this moment, and the intense pain and impact made even the sword in his hand fly away. With a whoosh, Situ Xiu's figure fell quickly, smashing a big pit in the volcano trial field. Magical power! Venerable Wuya muttered to himself, shocked by the move Lin Yu just used. It was the Great Void 8 Tribes dragon form, and the next moment he saw Situ Xiu die in front of him. And Lin Yu took away everyone's storage rings and sea pearls. Under the eyes of Venerable Wuya, the number was redistributed. Shan Qingling got 24 pearls. The reason was that Tai Jian had 23 pearls. Lin Yu knew that there was not much time left, and this was Tai Jian's territory. If this kid wanted to hide, he couldn't find him in a short time. At this moment, Tai Jian's ranking had fallen to 3rd. Lin Yu gave Lin Yuan 25 pearls, making Lin Yuan's ranking rise to 2nd. He kept 36 pearls in his hand, ranking 1st. At this point, the first round of the sequence battle, Haizhu battle, there was already a final outcome. Up in the sky, Venerable Boundless also removed the volcano trial field. Just as he was about to announce the result, Tai Jian rushed out of nowhere. He stepped into the air and shouted all the way, "Master, save me!" He was really scared. After running away from Lin Yu, Tai Jian also heard Venerable Wuya's words. However, his words were unable to intimidate Lin Yu. Tai Jian saw Zhuge Lingyun and Situ Xiu's sea pearls being snatched away with his own eyes inside the cave. The strong preyed on the weak. He had never shown mercy to those who were weaker than him. Therefore, Tai Jian could guess that Situ Xiu and Zhuge Lingyun must have died in Lin Yu's hands. This kid was too terrifying. Tai Jian, what happened to you? In the outside world, Grand Preceptor 1 appeared in front of Tai Jian as soon as the barrier disappeared. Tai Jian immediately hid behind Grand Preceptor 1. Master, Lin Yu is like a ghost. What do you mean? Grand Preceptor 1 was also shocked. If others made a fuss about nothing, he would not believe it. However, although Tai Jian was his disciple, he used to be very conceited. Today, however, he was scared to this extent. This shocked Grand Preceptor 1. What nonsense are you talking about? Fan Tong snorted coldly and turned to Lin Yu. A smile immediately bloomed on his face. Lin Yu, good job. It was the first time he held his head high in front of so many people in Boundless Sea. Everyone, sorry for the disrespect. This is Lin Yu of our 6th Sea region. He made a fool of himself. He accidentally took first place, hee. Fan Tong's words made Lin Yu's old face twitch. He was like a freaking nouveau riche. He was too lazy to pay attention to him, and calmly looked at Venerable Boundless. The other party also looked at Lin Yu, as if trying to see through each other's depth. I announce that the results of the first battle have come out. Lin Yu, Lin Yuan, Shan Qingling, and Tai Jian will start the second battle. As Exalted Wuya's voice was heard, everyone knew that the result had been decided. Child, how did my son die? The second Sea Lord, Situ Jingtian, shouted. At the same time, the third and fourth Sea Lords were furious. At this moment, corpses were carried out one by one. Situ Xiu, Zhuge Lingyun, Su Longxiang. Unfortunately, Bai Yanlang did not find Mu Zhantian's body because he was already smashed to pieces. Who did this? Who did this? Several Sea Lords roared at the same time. The spearhead was directly pointed at the 4 people who won. The murderer must be among these 4 people. Seniors, Tai Jian is incompetent. Tai Jian jumped out directly and bowed to everyone with an innocent and guilty face. Tai Jian, did you kill my Xiu'er? Tai Jian, why did you do this? Ling Yun, and you have no grievances. This is just a competition. Tai Jian's face twitched, and he immediately waved his hand. It's not me, I'm here to identify the murderer. I saw it clearly inside. Situ, Zhuge, and several other brothers were all killed by Lin Yu. While speaking, Tai Jian had already pointed at Lin Yu. It's just that the other party's calm gaze fell in front of Tai Jian, making the latter feel terrified. What a terrifying gaze! Tai Jian immediately shrank his finger, swallowed his saliva, and no longer spoke. His whole person retreated. He had finished what he wanted to say, and now he continued to watch the show. Lin Yu by himself? This kid is now the number one in Haizhu. He probably has some skills. Could it be that this kid hid his cultivation and started a massacre inside? Give me your life. Fan Tong and Xiao Yinyao stood in front of Lin Yu at the same time. Everyone, this matter has not been investigated yet. You just listened to Tai Jian's one-sided statement and concluded that Lin Yu is the murderer. This matter is too unfair. Fan Tong snorted coldly. After decades of suffocation, he could finally hold his head high. How could he allow his future son-in-law, Lin Yu, to be bullied? If you have any questions, come at me, Fan Tong. The 6th Sea region will accompany you to the end. The same goes for the 7th Sea region. The Battle of Haizhu is a fair competition. Now that the results are out, I won't allow you to settle the score with Lin Yu. Xiao Yinyao also expressed his stance. Tai Jian is the direct disciple of Grand Tutor One. How can his words be false? Moreover, Lin Yu is the number one on the Haizhu list. If you didn't kill the person who benefited the most, who else could it be? Everyone had already decided on this matter. When Shan Qingling saw this, she pursed her lips and said, "It has nothing to do with Lin Yu. Those people killed each other." Shan Qingling, do you think that the seniors are fools? Tai Jian was the first to refute. You brothers are as close as brothers. Even in the sequence battle, you will stop when it's appropriate. How can you kill each other? I think that Lord Shan is biased towards Lin Yu, right? Chapter 775. Situ Jingtian and others also felt that Shan Qingling's words were too far-fetched. Shan Qingling was indebted to Lin Yu, so how could she watch him being bullied? I was also in the trial field before, and I saw it more clearly than Tai Jian. Why do you believe him and not me? Shan Qingling's face was sullen. She knew that the truth was not important. What was important was to protect Lin Yu. Thinking of this, Shan Qingling confronted Tai Jian. You said that you saw them die in the hands of Lin Yu. Do you have evidence? Shan Qingling asked coldly. Tai Jian just wanted to speak, but was interrupted by Shan Qingling again. If I remember correctly, you brought Situ Xiu and others to besiege us, and then you saw that the situation was not right. You were the first to escape, and I don't know where you ran to. You were not present at all, so how do you know how they died? Shan Qingling's words fell into Tai Jian's ears, and at the same time, it made the hearts of others tighten. It turns out that Tai Jian is a deserter. The only direct disciple of the dignified Grand Preceptor when actually betrayed his friends for glory and wanted to wrongly accuse Lin Yu. Everyone was talking about it. Tai Jian's old face turned red, and he gritted his teeth and stared at Shan Qingling. Now we are talking about Lin Yu, what does it have to do with me? After I left, Situ Xiu and Zhuge Lingyun died. You said that it was not Lin Yu who did it, who else could it be? It was me. In the direction of the 5th Sea, Lin Yuan's deep voice came. His face was calm and even a little cute, but when this sentence came out of his mouth, others couldn't help but feel nervous and looked over. Lin Yuan, you can't talk about this matter. Yang Ju on the side was also worried about Lin Yuan. How did this kid get himself into trouble? I killed them. If you are not happy, you can come to me. Lin Yuan said again. He didn't know what was right or wrong, and he didn't care who killed those people. Even if it was not Lin Yu who did it, but others wronged Lin Yu, and he would take all the blame. This is Lin Yuan's loyalty to Lin Yu. Good. Good heaven grade aptitude Lin Yuan. Yang Ju, these are the people you brought here. They killed my son, Situshio. I want you to give me an explanation. For a time, the Fifth Sea region became the target of public criticism. Yang Ju's face was covered in cold sweat. Upon seeing this, Shan Qingling was surprised by Lin Yuan's loyalty to Lin Yu. These two people must have an unusual relationship. Men on top of men? Men on both sides? Shan Qingling shook her head and didn't dare continue thinking about it. But now she is also in a dilemma. Lin Yuan has admitted to the murder and helped Lin Yu take the blame. But how can she speak up for Lin Yuan? Shan Qingling was a Sea Lord, so her words carried some weight. However, just as she was thinking, she heard a dry cough. This cough carried with it a bit of glory qi that reverberated throughout the entire area. The young man slowly walked out from behind Fan Tong and Xiao Yenyao, not even looking at the others. Lin Yu didn't care about those guys who were clamoring about the death of their people from the beginning. He just stepped into the air and walked in front of Venerable Wuya. When the crowd saw this, they were all shocked. What is this kid doing? Offending the Venerable? Does he want to die? Lin Yu, come down quickly, the Venerable is not allowed to get close. The corners of Tai Jian's mouth raised, and his heart was already blooming with joy. This kid is actually courting death to reason with the Venerable? As for Fan Tong and Xiao Yenyao, their old faces were frozen in place. It's over, it's over. Shan Qingling's pretty face was pale. She, Fan Tong, and Xiao Yenyao might be able to help Lin Yu solve the trouble of the people below. However, offending the Venerable is a capital offense, and no one in the boundless sea can protect him. Lin Yu, come back quickly! Shan Qingling shouted. Seeing this scene, Lin Yuan didn't stop Lin Yu, but he was already prepared to deal with Venerable Wuya at any time. He felt the strength of Venerable Wuya, and even if he and Lin Yu worked together, they might not be a match for him. However, it doesn't matter whether they can win or not. In Lin Yuan's world, what he has to do is to stand on the same line as Lin Yu. Lin Yu walked in front of Venerable Wuya with a calm expression. Even under the pressure of Venerable Wuya, who had crossed the three great realms of Four Symbols Realm, 10,000 Spirit Realm, and Spirit King Realm, Lin Yu was still calm. Lin Yu still spoke calmly. Can't you kill in the sequence battle? It was just a simple sentence. However, those words were spread all over. Those words were not only meant for exalted Wuya to hear, but they were also meant for the others to hear. Can't you kill in the sequence battle? No one has ever said that you can't kill. So, even if the people who died were Situshio, Zhuge Lingyun, and other heaven's prides, so what? If you kill them, then kill them. Lin Yu killed these people in the sequence battle. This was the reason. The audience was dead silent. No one dared to continue speaking. No one even dared to breathe heavily. Because they saw that Venerable Wuya's gaze had changed. It was a gaze filled with killing intent. Are you teaching me how to do things? Venerable Wuya's voice came. Everyone swallowed their saliva and felt a majestic pressure coming from the sky above the trial field, suppressing everyone. Even the Four Symbols realms present all knelt down under this pressure. Grand Preceptor Wen, Tai Jian, Situ Jingtian. There were also Shan Qingling, Bai Yanlang, Yang Ju, and others. All of them knelt down under this pressure. This was the pressure of the supreme ruler of the boundless sea. This was the pressure that represented the power of Venerable Wuya. And the person who faced this power the most directly was Lin Yu. At this moment, Lin Yu, like everyone else, already felt an unprecedented sense of oppression. Spirit King Stage. This was a Spirit King Stage expert. Compared to Ling Xiao at that time, he was dozens of times stronger. Was such a person an existence that could form his own world and even turn the clouds and rain with a flip of his hand? Interesting, too interesting. Lin Yu did not have any fear. Instead, his face was filled with excitement. Such an existence could only be ranked 30th on the celestial god list. Then how strong were those people at the top of the celestial god list? Above Spirit King? Or even more realms that he had never heard of? You're not afraid of me? Venerable Wuya narrowed his eyes and sized up Lin Yu. However, even with his cultivation, he could not see any clues about Lin Yu. You don't belong here. Venerable Wuya's wisdom was extraordinary, and he immediately understood some things. I didn't do anything wrong, why should I be afraid of you? Forcefully enduring the pain all over his body, Lin Yu's voice was still calm and unwavering. As for Reverend Wuya, he looked at Lin Yu with admiration before dispersing his oppressive might. He knew that if this continued, it would be unreasonable of him. You're right. You can kill in the sequence battle. Venerable Wuya's voice sounded. Lin Yu heard it, and everyone else below also heard it. Chapter 776. Many thanks. Lin Yu didn't say anything else, only a simple word of thanks. He didn't need to say it, because reason was on his side. There was no rule against killing in the sequence battle. This kind of contest was a fight to the death. So if the others wanted to settle accounts, that was their problem. Lin Yu even thought that Venerable Wuya, as the strongest ruler of the sea, had the responsibility to suppress the others. With that, Lin Yu turned and returned to Fan Tong's side. The scene just now made many people come back to their senses, as if a lifetime had passed. That kid dared to challenge the Venerable One? Not only that, but the Venerable One even listened to him? While they were shocked, the leaders of the Sea Lords didn't dare to voice their anger. The Venerable One had spoken, so this matter was over. As for Lin Yu, the Venerable One didn't make a move to take him down, which meant he tacitly approved of his actions today. Regarding this, the Sea Lords were surprised, but they could only choose to remain silent. Venerable One, will the second battle begin tomorrow or when? After a long while, Grand Preceptor Wen broke the silence and asked tentatively. His tone was careful, as he was afraid of angering Venerable Wuya at this critical juncture. But as the host of this place and the first Sea Lord, Grand Preceptor Wen's action was a declaration of his position in the boundless sea. His position was above the other Sea Lord. Now, Venerable Wuya spoke slowly. With a wave of his hand, the trial field began to shake from 10,000 feet below. The volcano, which hadn't erupted for many years, was now emitting a large amount of smoke. As the crowd watched with their own eyes, the entire underwater volcano trial field rose into the air. Is this the strength of a Spirit King? Overturning the clouds with one turn of the hand, the Venerable One can lift the entire volcano trial field with one hand. What kind of strength is this? Rumbling sounds continued. The trial field rose into the air. This action shocked even Grand Preceptor One and the others. Usually, between two battles, there would be some time left for the participants to rest, but this time, the Venerable One wanted the remaining 4 to fight continuously. 4 people, step forward. Venerable Wuya coldly said. The training field was split into 2 by the force of his hand. Magma gushed out as volcanoes erupted one after another. The 2 continents turned into magma. Lin Yu against Tai Jian. Reverend Limitless said in a commanding tone. Go to the left continent and fight. Hearing those words, Lin Yu spread out his hands. Although he did not know why Reverend Wuya would be so anxious. However, as long as he could win in a fight, the timing of the fight was not important to him. Lin Yu took a step forward and displayed a lightning-fast movement technique. He directly appeared on the magma continent on the left. This scene caused Tai Jian's mind to rumble. Why do I have to fight with him? Why is he my opponent? Tai Jian muttered to himself and subconsciously took a few steps back. What nonsense are you talking about? In the sequence battle, you are supposed to defeat everyone to obtain the qualifications to be brought to the sequence rankings by the Venerable One. Grand Preceptor One snorted in exasperation. Why aren't you going? Although Lin Yu is a little strange, with your myriad poisons body, and the strength of the second layer of the four symbols stage, don't tell me you don't have the confidence to win? Master, this kid is strange. He's definitely not as simple as you think. Tai Jian's feet seemed to have grown roots as he stood on the ground and refused to go over. Tai Jian, why aren't you going up? What are you waiting for? Venerable Wu Ya's voice sounded again. Tai Jian's mind was shaken as his legs went soft. Just as he was about to admit defeat, he saw Grand Preceptor Wen supporting him. With this support, Grand Preceptor Wen's tyrannical power directly entered Tai Jian's body. At the same time, a poison that he had refined for 1,000 years also entered. Master, this is... Tai Jian's face was filled with joy. He did not expect Grand Preceptor Wen to sacrifice his own power like this. As for the 1,000-year poison, Tai Jian naturally knew what it was. Don't let your master down. After Grand Preceptor Wen said that, Tai Jian clenched his fists and regained his confidence. He took a step and appeared in front of Lin Yu. Are you not afraid of me? Lin Yu seemed to ask innocently, but in fact, it made Tai Jian's heart tighten. But when he thought that he was not the same as before, Tai Jian calmed down and sneered, Lin Yu, don't you know that death is at hand? Lin Yu looked at Tai Jian and really felt that the other party's aura was the same. Does he have any more trump cards and deliberately hide them? Lin Yu pondered in his heart. In the other direction, Shan Qingling and Lin Yuan came up. Regardless of life and death, only victory and defeat will be determined. Venerable Wu Ya stood with his hands behind his back and sword between the two continents. Begin. His voice sounded. Tai Jian's figure burst out in an instant and rushed toward Lin Yu. Die for me. Tai Jian raised his palm, and 100 feet of purple mist burst out from his palm. The purple mist wrapped Lin Yu in all directions, including the path behind him. Within the purple mist, Lin Yu noticed that when the purple mist collided with the air, he could hear some sizzling sounds. Highly toxic. Lin Yu operated his cultivation, and golden light shrouded him directly. The Buddha's Garuda formed a monstrous golden Buddhist bell that rotated around Lin Yu's body. The purple mist was blocked by the Buddhist bell for a while. But it was not enough to block the purple mist, because Tai Jian's palm power was approaching. Clang. Tai Jian's palm turned dark purple in an instant, and even his neck was full of dark purple poison that spread out. The palm power collided with the Buddha's Garuda, and a deafening sound was heard. Seeing this, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Is that Tai Jian's myriad poison battle body? I'm afraid that among the younger generation of the Boundless Sea, Tai Jian is recognized as the #1 person in terms of using poison. The Buddha's Garuda was indestructible, but when Tai Jian's palm fell, in addition to the overbearing power of the second level of the 4-division stage, it also added a lot of highly toxic attacks. Lin Yu calmly looked at his opponent's palm, where the Buddha's Garuda actually cracked. Cracks that could be seen with the naked eye spread out. Lin Yu's figure retreated, and the Buddha's Garuda was completely shattered. Tai Jian's palm power also approached Lin Yu. Soul-destroying palm. Tai Jian's ferocious eyes stared at Lin Yu as if he was looking at a dead man. The palm power was already 3 feet away from Lin Yu. 2 feet. 1 foot. In the blink of an eye, it was about to touch Lin Yu's face. However, all of a sudden, Tai Jian's expression changed drastically. A black shadow had enveloped him in an instant. The black shadow was like a monstrous demon that came from Lin Yu's body. Its eyes were like demons as it looked down on Tai Jian. Chapter 777. At this moment, Tai Jian's attack seemed to be paused by time and space, and it was difficult for him to take half a step forward. This was not Lin Yu using time and space reset, but the phantasm of Azura, one of the 8 divisions of void, with an overbearing deterrent power. The 3-inch space around Lin Yu's body was Azura's absolute forbidden zone. Impossible! Tai Jian pulled back with all his might, but under this pressure, his body was as slow as a mortal. He wanted to retreat, but he couldn't break through Azura's pressure at all. What is your cultivation? Tai Jian roared. He didn't believe that Lin Yu had no cultivation at all. With such a strong pressure, such a powerful speed and offense, Tai Jian even felt that Lin Yu's realm was much higher than his. It's enough to kill you. The corner of Lin Yu's mouth curled up. He raised his fist and punched Tai Jian with the Azura, hitting him squarely. This punch caused an air wave to rise in the air. Everyone looked over in shock and their jaws almost fell off. Tai Jian can't beat Lin Yu. Impossible. Tai Jian is a powerhouse of the second level of the 4 symbols stage. How can he not be Lin Yu's opponent? Then what realm is Lin Yu? Fan Tong and Xiao Yenyao were also overjoyed. Only Grand Preceptor Wen's eyes were cold. Sure enough, I was right to leave some tricks behind. He didn't expect Lin Yu to defeat Tai Jian in his normal state. Fortunately, Grand Preceptor Wen left some tricks behind. Only to hear a roar from the magma continent, Tai Jian's figure directly smashed a volcano. The gravel collapsed, and Tai Jian directly drew a deep pit road. Lin Yu, on the other hand, looked in another direction. There, Shan Qingling was taking a lot of medicinal pills. She was holding a pill furnace in her hand. This pill furnace seemed to be invisible and could be big or small. She kept attacking Lin Yuan. However, Lin Yuan just crossed his hands in front of him. He didn't even move at all, but his demonic energy formed a qi wall. Even if it was just a qi wall, Shan Qingling couldn't break this qi wall at all after hitting it for a long time. Bastard! Shan Qingling clenched her teeth. She consumed a lot of energy, but even so, she couldn't even break Lin Yuan's basic defense. The gap between me and him is so big. Shan Qingling continued to take medicinal pills, but she was soon exhausted. Lin Yu retracted his gaze. It seemed that Lin Yuan's side had an overwhelming advantage. He looked down and saw that Tai Jian's figure had actually disappeared. Lin Yu's lips curled up as he felt a strong vibration coming from the bottom of the volcano. This vibration to the magma continent, Lin Yu was surprised. Heartbeat? Everyone looked over in surprise as they felt the vibrations in the magma of the volcano. Did Tai Jian enter the lava? This life reaction is stronger than that of a demonic beast. What's going on? Grand Preceptor Wen narrowed his eyes slightly and didn't say anything, but he naturally knew what was going on. Wen Xiang, what did you do? Fan Tong was shocked and immediately asked from a distance. How could Grand Preceptor Wen pay attention to him when he heard his original name? He pretended not to hear it. Even Venerable Wuya couldn't help but take a second look at Tai Jian's reaction. Soul transformation? He said in his heart. The next moment, Lin Yu saw all the volcanoes below erupt, and magma rushed up. Azura's huge figure blocked outside, and Lin Yu avoided a few magma pillars at the same time. But this was only a small crisis, because he saw that the magma began to merge in midair, as if it had a life of its own. Lin Yu was very interested. In front of the magma that was growing at this moment, he was like an ant under a mountain. Everyone also looked at this side. In Shan Qingling's direction, Lin Yuan was worried about Lin Yu, so he waved his hand casually. The moment Shan Qingling's pill furnace rushed towards him, it was directly smashed away by his hand and fell to the ground and rolled far away. The sound of gold and jade clanged. Shan Qingling looked lonely, knowing that she no longer had the power to fight. You are Master's woman, I won't hurt you. Lin Yuan's calm voice came, deep and domineering. Thank you, I admit defeat. Shan Qingling nodded and admitted defeat, but then realized that something was wrong. What do you mean by your master's woman? I am not. But Lin Yuan didn't care about her. Shan Qingling had already admitted defeat. In Lin Yuan's view, as long as he continued to admit defeat, Lin Yu would be the winner this time. But now Lin Yuan was worried about the huge magma ball in front of Lin Yu. This sphere was as huge as the sun. Lin Yu was not in a hurry. Inside the magma ball, he felt the existence of Tai Jian. Lin Yu was now curious to see what Tai Jian was up to. Soon, the magma ball began to shrink and gradually formed a human figure. It was just that this human figure was also incomparably huge. The magma giant looked down at Lin Yu with only one eye on its face. It had no mouth, no nose, and no ears. In that eye, Lin Yu saw the figure of Tai Jian. At this moment, Tai Jian only had his upper body left, and his lower body had already merged with the magma giant. "Master, is this the power you've been dreaming of?" Tai Jian laughed. The treasure that Grand Preceptor when refined for thousands of years was actually used by him first today. At this moment, Tai Jian only felt that his strength was close to the 10,000 spirit realm. The body of a 10,000 spirit realm powerhouse can transform into anything. This magma giant was transformed from Tai Jian's body. With this power, even if it's master, I can crush him with a stomp. Tai Jian's heart was filled with evil thoughts, but Lin Yu was still in front of him, and this was what he hated the most. "Lin Yu, are you afraid?" Tai Jian's casual words were like a thunderclap that reverberated through a radius of 10,000 feet due to his enormous body. "It's over, Lin Yu is dead for sure." "Tai Jian, what kind of cultivation technique is this?" "No, why does it look like a forbidden technique in my Boundless Sea's ancient books?" Fan Tong's old face was ashen. "Grand Preceptor Wen, you actually refined the soul-dissolving pill?" "It's too late to know now." Grand Preceptor Wen sneered. "Fan Tong, Lin Yu's performance just now seems to have made you a little complacent." He turned to look at Fan Tong and Xiao Yenyao, spreading his hands. "My first sea region is destined to be the strongest in the Boundless Sea, and the sequence will also be from my first sea region. As for you," he stared at Fan Tong, "trash will always be trash, don't even think about surpassing me." Fan Tong's breathing became heavy. He also felt that Tai Jian's strength surpassed everyone present at this moment. "Lin Yu, run!" Fan Tong's shout came. Tai Jian heard and sneered again. "Your Sea Lord told you to run, but unfortunately, I won't let you run away." Lin Yu spread his hands. "Then what are you going to do to me?" "What?" Tai Jian took a step forward, the terrifying heat rising the temperature of the first sea region by a lot. Especially when Lin Yu confronted him at such a close distance. Even if the corner of his clothes didn't touch Tai Jian, it was already burning. Chapter 778. I'm going to crush you to death and avenge the humiliation you gave me in the Battle of Haizhu. Lin Yu said helplessly, "Weren't you the one who wanted to be a coward? What do you mean by I humiliated you?" "Shut up." The lava giant punched down, and the vortex in the sky was pushed back by Lin Yu. The wind pressure came with the fist, and Lin Yu's clothes moved without wind, but his expression was still calm. Is it comparable to Ling Zhao's punch? Lin Yu thought. Azura used falsified sky. In front of him, space and time twisted. The lava giant's fist fell, and endless flames burned down. However, it didn't hit Lin Yu. So fast. Fan Tong, Xiao Yenyao, and the other ocean lords felt their hearts tighten. Even if it were them, it would be difficult for them to dodge Tai Jian's punch with such speed. However, Lin Yu disappeared from where he stood. They couldn't even see his afterimage clearly. It really is a theurgy. Venerable Wuya narrowed his eyes and confirmed his initial thoughts. Only a theurgy could have such incredible power. 1,000 miles away, Lin Yu appeared. His right fist was already gathering power. This time, I don't need to use 30-fold space-time overlap. 10 times is enough. The current Lin Yu was stronger than when he fought Ling Xiao. As for the lava giant, it was just a temporary power that Tai Jian obtained through some means. It didn't truly belong to him. Therefore, Lin Yu concluded that the lava giant wasn't as strong as Ling Xiao. Found you. Tai Jian's voice was like thunder. The wind pressure in the sky increased by a dozen times. Lin Yu shook his head helplessly and used falsified sky again. Falsified sky was a reverse teleportation technique. For example, when Lin Yu stepped onto sky desert under Ling Xiao's trick, he had returned to the abyss of despair. If it wasn't for falsified sky, Lin Yu wouldn't have been able to return to his original place and break free from Ling Xiao's restraints. Lin Yu wouldn't even have been able to reach Sky Desert. Rumble! Tai Jian's punch missed again. At this moment, he was surprised. He didn't have any intention of underestimating his opponent, but Lin Yu was able to dodge both of his attacks. Everyone below was shocked to see that Lin Yu had returned to his original place. How did he do it? He can teleport in 2 places. There's actually such a strange cultivation method in the world. I've never heard of it before. Even Grand Tutor Wen and Xiao Yenyao, who were sea masters of the older generation, exclaimed repeatedly when they saw Lin Yu use Not Heaven. With this kind of movement skill, even they would have to put in a lot of effort to take down Lin Yu. However, this was not the end of their shock. That was because the violent power on Lin Yu's right fist kept increasing, which attracted their attention. Rather than saying that they were paying attention, it would be better to say that they were in a life and death crisis. What is that? Fist energy. What a tyrannical fist energy. And it's still increasing. In the sky, Tai Jian locked onto Lin Yu once again. At the same time, he sensed the power of Lin Yu's right fist. Damn it. You still have a trump card. Tai Jian went berserk. He knew that he couldn't delay any longer. Otherwise, Lin Yu would gather more and more power. Even in his current state, he would probably fail miserably. However, when Tai Jian threw out his third punch, Lin Yu's tenfold power accumulation was already completed. 8 Great Void Divisions, Dragon Manifestation. Lin Yu's arm made cracking sounds. Given his current battle constitution, even if it wasn't a 30-fold spacetime overlap, it still exceeded the burden of his right arm. Fortunately, his arm did not explode from the force of the explosion. At this moment, Lin Yu threw out a punch. The tenfold power of the dragon manifestation gathered into 10 dragon shadows. The dragon roar shook the sky and resounded in all directions. Everyone saw Lin Yu and Tai Jian's fists collide. Lin Yu is actually going to take Tai Jian's punch with his bare hands? He's crazy. In such a state, Tai Jian's battle constitution has probably surpassed the strength of a monster. If Lin Yu were to face it head-on with a human body, he would be dead for sure. Sigh, this kid is a bit impulsive. However, just when they thought that Lin Yu was going to lose, a roar came from the sky. Rumble. From what they saw, the scene of Lin Yu being killed by Tai Jian didn't happen. On the contrary, at this moment, Tai Jian's right fist in the lava giant state was shattering layer by layer. What? This? What kind of power is this? Above the magma continent, 10 dragon shadows were constantly hovering, forming a posture like the overlord of the sky, constantly echoing in the sky. Every time there was an echo, it was Lin Yu's dragon manifestation fist hitting Tai Jian's body. At this moment, not only Tai Jian's arm, even the huge lava battle constitution on his body was constantly shattering at this moment. The tenfold power of the Void Dragon Manifestation Fist was comparable to Lin Yu's full combat power, continuously blasting out 10 fist forces. And Lin Yu himself had the combat power of a 4 divisions powerhouse. This time, it was the all-out attack executed by 10 4 symbols realm powerhouses. Moreover, it wasn't an ordinary technique, but a magical attack. No. Tai Jian was injured, and his remaining upper body was also spitting out blood. At this moment, he could clearly feel that his strength was beginning to fade. Master, give me another soul transformation pill. Tai Jian knew that he couldn't make it. His strength began to dissipate, and his battle constitution was also rapidly withering, even being swallowed by the magma. In the end, Tai Jian still walked towards Grand Preceptor 1. Grand Preceptor 1 saw this and also took a few steps forward. For this battle, I'm the first sea region. He wanted to admit defeat, but for the sake of his face, he still hesitated. It was also because of Grand Preceptor Wen's hesitation at this moment. The sound of wind breaking came from above, and it was Lin Yu who had transformed into Azura. He directly gathered his hands in front of his chest, raised them, and directly slammed them down. That was the lower part of Tai Jian's body. Half of the magma giant's body was instantly smashed into pieces by this punch. Disciple! Grand Preceptor Wen's roar came, but his voice could no longer be heard by Tai Jian. Lin Yu, you're courting death. Grand Preceptor Wen's cultivation erupted, and the power of the 7th level of the 4 divisions enveloped his entire body. His figure turned into a purple stream of light and directly charged towards Lin Yu. And at this moment, Lin Yu was also motionless. It was as if he had given up resisting. This scene made everyone's heart tighten. Lin Yu, run! Child, be careful! Fan Tong and Xiao Yenyao said in unison. But Lin Yu only raised the corner of his mouth in the face of Grand Preceptor Wen's fury and killing intent. Grand Preceptor Wen couldn't bring himself to attack within 3 feet of him. Bastard, bastard, I will make you pay the price. Grand Preceptor Wen stared at Lin Yu, but in the end, he didn't really attack. Because he knew that the pressure of a venerable had already descended. Chapter 779. With this move, he absolutely can't hurt Lin Yu. As long as he gets closer, Venerable will personally take action, and at that time, it will be his death aura. Lin Yu, on the other hand, was as calm as ever. For the first time, Grand Preceptor Wen encountered this kind of person who obviously wants to kill him, but can't even hurt a hair on his head. First Sea Lord, what's the matter? Lin Yu said with a faint smile. His tone was gentle, as if nothing had happened just now. He killed Tai Jian like pinching an ant, and Lin Yu didn't care about it at all. It's nothing. Grand Preceptor Wen put down his hand. He turned around and went down, wanting to insist on Tai Jian's situation. He thought that Tai Jian might still have a glimmer of hope. However, Grand Preceptor Wen didn't understand Lin Yu's character. When he deals with enemies, he will definitely crush their bones and scatter their ashes, leaving no room for mercy. Tai Jian couldn't be any more dead. Even on Tai Jian's fingers, Grand Preceptor Wen saw finger marks, but there was no trace of the storage ring. Where is my disciple's storage ring? Grand Preceptor Wen roared at Lin Yu. Your people, you ask me? Lin Yu smiled shyly. Obviously he won't admit that when he made the last blow, in addition to wanting to kill Tai Jian, he wanted to kill him and rob him. Today's battle. Grand Preceptor Wen wanted to speak, but the voice of Venerable Wuya had already made him swallow the words that were just about to come out of his mouth. Lin Yuan and Lin Yu win. Venerable Wuya announced. When everyone was only optimistic that Tai Jian and Sidu Xiu could win the sequence battle. These two people became dark horses at the same time. They came out of the Haizhu battle and defeated Shan Qingling and Tai Jian to become the final winner. Sea Lord, when will this final battle begin? Fan Tong asked with some worry on his face. He knew that Lin Yu had just dealt with Tai Jian and had consumed a lot of energy. The best result is to let him rest for a few days and restore his full state before the final battle. And in another direction, although Yang Ju could see that Lin Yuan and Lin Yu's opponents were extremely surprised this time. Lin Yuan did not consume too much physical strength to deal with Shan Qingling. However, Lin Yu was different. His opponent was Tai Jian. Moreover, it was Tai Jian who had just taken the soul-dissolving pill. His battle prowess had skyrocketed. This old man also agrees. Let's have a fair fight. Let's wait for them to recover their vitality. Venerable Wuya interrupted Yang Ju as soon as his words came out. Continue, the final battle. Listen carefully. Everyone could not help but be shocked. Continue now? What's going on? In the past, although it wasn't a sequence battle, there would always be a period of time between matches to give the contestants a chance to recover. But today, 3 matches were held consecutively. Was this a test of their endurance? Everyone was astonished. Venerable Boundless and Lin Yu glanced at each other. Do you have any objections? No. Lin Yu shrugged. Whatever. It doesn't matter when they fight, because his opponent is Lin Yuan. At this moment, Lin Yuan also had no objection. He came in front of Lin Yu. The two were separated by 10 feet, but they looked at each other. The two clasped their fists at the same time. When Venerable Boundless announced the start of the battle, 2 people's voices came at the same time. I admit defeat. I admit defeat. At this moment, the audience was dead silent again. No one would have thought that these 2 people would admit defeat at the same time. Did I hear it wrong? What's going on? Why did they admit defeat? It's okay to admit defeat, but they admitted defeat at the same time. Who won? Even Venerable Wuyao, who was sitting on the main seat, couldn't help narrowing his eyes at this moment. These 2 people were deliberately not giving him face. What do you mean? Venerable Wuya's cold voice came. When the other Sea Lords heard this, their hearts tightened at this moment. They were afraid that Venerable Wuya's anger would affect them. This, our Lin Yu consumed a lot of energy, admit defeat, then admit defeat. Fan Tong immediately came out to smooth things over. This Venerable is not asking you. Venerable Wuya's voice came with supreme majesty. Even Fan Tong and Xiao Yenyao, who was next to him, couldn't help but be nervous at this moment. It's over, it's over. Grand Preceptor One was gloating. This kid was too arrogant. Unfortunately, many geniuses were so arrogant that they eventually killed themselves in the cradle. Although Lin Yu defeated Tai Jian, he didn't understand the rules of the Boundless Sea. Today, he angered Venerable Wuya, and it was his death date. Tai Jian, your spirit in heaven must see clearly. Master has avenged you. Grand Preceptor One muttered to himself. On the lava continent, Lin Yu said calmly, I won't fight. This sequence qualification, you can give it to whoever you want. After listening, Venerable Wuya's face became gloomy for the first time. He looked at Lin Yuan again. Then you. I don't want it. Lin Yuan directly interrupted Venerable Wuya's words, making the latter's voice in his throat abruptly swallowed back. This was the first time he had been interrupted. Moreover, it wasn't in the outside world, but in his territory, the Boundless Sea. If you don't want it, then why did you participate in this battle? Venerable Wuya said angrily. Lin Yu and Lin Yuan looked at each other. They replied at the same time. It's fun. It's fun. Presumptuous. Venerable Wuya's furious voice spread in all directions. The 2 continents that rose into the sky fell directly at this moment, and the earth roared. The membrane that blocked the seawater from the outside also began to show signs of cracking after this vibration. Seeing this, the others immediately took action to stabilize the membrane. When Venerable Wuya was angry, the entire first sea area was almost submerged by the seawater. You too, what do you mean by this? Venerable Wuya asked for the last time. Lin Yu and Lin Yuan both felt that this person was really angry. If this question can't be answered, maybe both Lin Yu and Lin Yuan will die in the hands of Venerable Wuya. You say. Venerable Wuya first looked at Lin Yuan. He could feel that whatever Lin Yu said, this kid would follow Lin Yu. So at this moment, he asked Lin Yuan alone. Lin Yuan was silent for a long time. His eyes were always looking at Lin Yu. Finally, a sentence came faintly. Never be an enemy of Master. Never be an enemy of Master. This sentence clearly fell into the ears of Lin Yu and Venerable Wuya. Master, Venerable Wuya narrowed his eyes slightly. When he first heard the surnames of these two people, he felt that something was wrong. Now it seems that his guess was right. It's your turn. Venerable Wuya asked again. This time he looked at Lin Yu. Lin Yu was not silent. He was different from Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan was a little unfamiliar with the expression of emotions. Lin Yu quickly said, Brother, never be an enemy. Similarly, never be an enemy. But it was from two different perspectives. One regarded the other as master. In Venerable Wuya's view, Lin Yuan felt that he was a level lower than Lin Yu. The other one regarded the other as a brother, indicating that in Lin Yu's heart, Lin Yuan was a brother. Although the answers of these two people did not satisfy Venerable Wuya, but it also made him unable to continue to blame them. Well, in that case you two are both sequences. Chapter 780. Both of them are in the sequence. As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned. Did I hear it wrong? Venerable said that Lin Yuan and Lin Yu became in the sequence at the same time? How could this be? Isn't there only one person in each sea area who can be selected? While everyone was surprised, even those old sea lords didn't know what the situation was now. Brother Fantong, what do you think of this matter? Yang Ju seemed to be in the clouds. Lin Yuan's current results have exceeded his expectations by too much. Therefore, Yang Ju didn't insist on being in the sequence. Even if Lin Yuan surrendered just now, Yang Ju could accept it. But now, he can become in the sequence without fighting? How do I know? Fan Tong also blushed. Not to mention the sequence, even in the Dragon Gate test, he has always been the one at the bottom. However, Venerable's decision will not be wrong. Since he has opened his mouth, then the two of them will be in the sequence from today onwards. Xiao Yinyao reminded everyone. After all, the person who spoke was none other than Venerable Wuya. In this sea area, even on the Divine God list, he is a top powerhouse. Such a person wouldn't joke with them. He said that the two of them are in the sequence. Then, they are in the sequence. Turns out that there can be two sequences in each sea area. Lin Yu smiled faintly. This was something he didn't expect. But Lin Yu understood. The existence of the sequence is the supreme list that the primitive continent, the border sea, and the heavenly domain compete for. Then, such an existence is not something that Venerable Wuya alone can decide on the list. You are very smart. Venerable Wuya glanced at Lin Yu. The other party is right. From the beginning, each sea area has two spots. But in order to let these young geniuses compete with all their strength, they didn't directly tell everyone. This is a good thing, but also a bad thing. Lin Yu spread out his hands. If there are more spots, it proves that the 7 sea areas, each with 14 sequences, plus the primitive continent and the heavenly domain, and those hidden forces, the competition for the sequence list will be more intense. Despite being in the echelon, Lin Yu didn't slack off. Instead, he calmly analyzed the situation. Regarding this, Venerable Wuya could not help but inwardly exclaim in admiration. You're right. Being in the echelon is just a symbol. It means that you're stronger than your peers. But that doesn't mean anything. Venerable Boundless' deep voice rang out. He was speaking to Lin Yu, but at the same time, he was also speaking to the others in the Boundless Sea. You can only become the personal disciple of an expert on the Heavenly God ranking if you ascend to the sequence ranking. As for the sequence, it's merely a matter of obtaining the qualifications to compete for the sequence rankings. He didn't want Lin Yu and Lin Yuan to stop because they were in the sequence. I have one more thing to ask you. Venerable Wuya looked at Lin Yu and asked in a voice that only Lin Yu could hear, Is the matter of the Dragon Gate related to you? It has nothing to do with me. Lin Yu shook his head without hesitation. That was done by Su Longxiang. If no one deliberately tried to destroy it, the Dragon Gate wouldn't have collapsed. Venerable Wuya continued, there is only one possibility. A talent above the heaven grade has appeared. This talent is enough to shake the Dragon Gate and cause it to collapse. Lin Yu continued to be silent. Seeing this, Venerable Wuya looked at Lin Yu a few more times. Su Longxiang doesn't have this talent. Otherwise, he wouldn't have died in your hands. Before Su Longxiang took the test, you took the test at the Dragon Gate. Although you didn't cause any reaction from the Dragon Gate, I believe that the collapse of the Dragon Gate is related to you. While speaking, Venerable Wuya's figure shifted again. With this shift, he appeared in front of Lin Yu at a speed that was invisible to the naked eye. A terrifying pressure suddenly descended on Lin Yu. I asked you a question, you have to answer truthfully. Venerable Wuya's cold voice rang out. All right, if you want to kill me, you can do so at any time. Why do you have to be so fancy? Lin Yu was a little impatient. This was using cultivation to bully him. When had he ever been bullied like this? As his voice fell, Venerable Wuya knew the other party's current role. He might be able to compete for the ranking list and bring him some face. Moreover, Lin Yu was right. If he was found to be hiding something, he could kill Lin Yu at any time. There was no need to do anything else. Fine. Venerable Wuya dispersed his pressure. Everyone jumped in fright, thinking that something bad was about to happen again. Your surname is Lin. Do you know that this surname belongs to the people of the heaven domain? Venerable Wuya asked again. I didn't know before, but now I know. Lin Yu said without thinking. Although this answer was simple and casual, Venerable Wuya could tell that he wasn't lying. Then the matter of the Dragon Gate. Lin Yu interrupted his words. I don't know either. At least when I was under the Dragon Gate didn't have any reaction. Venerable Wuya couldn't tell that Lin Yu was hiding anything. In fact, he knew that this was the truth. However, he still hoped that Lin Yu could confirm his guess. I should ask you about the Dragon Gate. If I really have a talent above the heaven grade, then other than the collapse of the Dragon Gate, did it have no reaction like yesterday? Lin Yu asked Venerable Wuya. The latter was speechless. It's over. If you were the only one who had destroyed the Dragon Gate since the beginning of time, he wouldn't be able to investigate the other things. Then where will I, Venerable Wuya's, and boundless seas face? Cough. Venerable Wuya suppressed the thoughts in his heart. There are various records in the ancient books. There are many people above the heaven grade. I naturally know what kind of reaction there is. I'm just testing you. He was neither panting nor blushing. He truly had the demeanor of a strong person. Then let's leave it at that. Lin Yu felt that the other party was strange. He estimated that he was hiding something. Of course, he couldn't see through the specific reason. It was because Venerable Wuya was afraid that Lin Yu would be too arrogant and lose his face, so the other party lied. Seeing Lin Yu turn around and leave, Venerable Wuya reminded him again, 3 days later, follow me to the Sequence Emperor City in front. Sequence Emperor City? Lin Yu asked casually. That's the place where the previous sequences compete for the sequence list. Understood. Lin Yu nodded and left. When Venerable Wuya just turned around and wanted to say a few words to Lin Yuan, the latter actually followed Lin Yu and stepped into the air together. He actually left him, a powerhouse ranked 30th on the divine list, hanging here. Venerable, next. Grand Preceptor Wen stepped forward and asked with trepidation. He couldn't hear the conversation between the three people just now. Obviously, Venerable didn't want them to hear the next few words. At this moment, seeing the others leave, Grand Preceptor Wen thought that the matter was over, so he dared to come forward and ask. Chapter 781. I am very satisfied with today's matter. The sequence battle of the boundless sea is over. Venerable Wuya suppressed the embarrassment of being ignored by Lin Yu and Lin Yuan, and said with a calm face, "Yes." Grand Preceptor One and others also withdrew their disciples one after another. As for this fragmented training field, it didn't matter. Originally, Grand Preceptor One hoped that Tai Jian could become a member of the sequence, and such a small sacrifice didn't matter. But now Tai Jian is dead, and his territory has been beaten like this, which made Grand Preceptor Wen's heart bleed. Lin Yu and Lin Yuan rested for a night. The next day, Grand Preceptor One and his party came to the reception hall where they were. Fan Tong, my second disciple, and your Fan Jinjin are also a talented man and a beautiful woman. Today, this old man came to propose marriage. You won't refuse, right? Fan Tong, Grand Preceptor One asked us to come together today to give you enough face. It's time for Fan Jinjin to get married. Today's matter, you can settle it like this. Yes, Chen Jianxin is the first person under Tai Jian. Now that Tai Jian died in the sequence battle, Chen Jianxin is the first disciple of Grand Preceptor One. He is more than enough to match your Fan Jinjin. Lin Yu heard the voices of the three people outside the hall very clearly. They were Grand Preceptor One, Situ Jingtian, and Bai Yanlang of the 4th Sea region. There seemed to be the breath of the 3rd Sea Lord and the 10th Sea Lord, Fire Buddha. The disciples of these people all lost to Lin Yu and Lin Yuan in the sequence battle. There must be no good thing for them to come here today. This old man has already said that my daughter Jinjin already has a sweetheart. Grand Preceptor One, please go back. Fan Tong's voice came. There seemed to be some kind of restriction outside Lin Yu's door, making it difficult for him to go out in a short time. Lin Yu heard Fan Jinjin say that this restriction was the array of the 6th Sea region. Is it Sea Lord Fan who doesn't want me to come forward? Lin Yu frowned. Obviously, Fan Tong knew that they came with bad intentions, so he wanted to solve the matter himself. Lin Yu came forward, and he was worried that Lin Yu would be implicated. Lin Yu felt that this move was unnecessary, after all, with his and Lin Yuan's current status. Others might not be able to tell, but Lin Yu, who had spoken to the Venerable One at a close distance, knew very well that the Venerable One's identity was extremely important. Therefore, even though Lin Yu was facing the Sea Lords who came to make things difficult for him, he was not afraid at all. Lin Yuan, help me! Lin Yu shouted. The two of them planned to work together to break through the restriction. Outside the door, there seemed to be a fierce quarrel. Fan Tong, you didn't give me any face back then. Today, I brought so many people to propose marriage to you out of goodwill. How dare you refuse? Grand Preceptor One said sternly as he patted the scarred Chen Jianxin beside him. Although this person's cultivation was not much lower than Tai Jian's, his face was ugly, and his body was emitting a murderous aura. How could Fan Tong accept such a son-in-law? Lin Yu was his favorite candidate. That's enough. I've already made myself very clear. Fan Tong's voice gradually became cold. Good. Good Fan Tong, do you see that? Grand Preceptor One took this as a pretext to make a fuss. The other Sea Lords echoed in succession. This is indeed your fault, Fan Tong. Do you think that you can ride on our heads just because you're in the sequence? I think that's what this kid thinks. With Lin Yu, the 6th Sea domain can turn over a salted fish. We old guys came to propose marriage to you, and we've already given your daughter enough face. I didn't think that you, Fan Tong, would be so arrogant today. Sea Lord Situ, Sea Lord One, what else are you saying? Tie Fan Tong up and drag him to the 6th Sea domain. I'll see if Fan Jinjin agrees. Yes, if Fan Jinjin doesn't agree today, where will we put our faces in the future? The 6th Sea domain will be turned upside down. The four of them criticized one after another, and Fan Tong could not refute a single word. Enough, Jinjin is my daughter, her happiness, before Fan Tong could finish, he saw a powerful palm strike coming at him. It was so fast that Fan Tong could not react in time. It was a late-stage 4 quadrants cultivator, and the strike landed squarely on Fan Tong's chest. Fan Tong flew backward, spitting out mouthfuls of blood. Grand Preceptor 1. Clutching his chest, he glared at Grand Preceptor 1. The attacker was the first Sea Lord. Go! Grand Preceptor 1's lips curled, and the other Sea Lords attacked Fan Tong at the same time. Fan Tong was injured, and there was no way he could withstand the attacks of Situ Jingtian, Bai Yanlang, and the others. The guest hall was torn apart. Grand Preceptor 1 did not feel the slightest bit of heartache this time. He was already in a good mood after injuring Fan Tong. Once Fan Tong was dead, he would let his disciple marry Fan Jinjin. Grand Preceptor 1 felt that this would be revenge for not being able to marry Fan Jinjin's mother. Master, this Fan Tong will be my father-in-law from now on. Is it appropriate to beat him up like this? Chen Jinshin could not bear to watch any longer. Idiot, if your senior was still here, Fan Jinjin would never have been yours. Grand Preceptor 1 snorted. When you get her, don't forget that I'm the one who gave her to you. This disciple knows his mistake. I'll listen to Master. Since Master wants Fan Jinjin, this disciple will not refuse. Shut up. How can I allow you to ruin my reputation? We'll talk about this when we get back. This disciple understands. Chen Jinshin chuckled. Fan Tong's injuries were severe, and he could tell that Fan Tong was severely injured. Stop! Outside the hall, Shan Qingling and Xiao Yenyao hurried over, accompanied by Yang Ju. The three of them blocked Situ Jingtian and the others. What are you doing? Xiao Yenyao pulled Fan Tong to his feet and scanned him with his consciousness. He knew that Fan Tong was seriously injured. These bastards! Xiao Yenyao turned around, burning with rage. Who did this? See Master Xiao, this is all because Fan Tong doesn't know what's good for him. Does the 7th Sea region also want to get involved? This old man advises you to take it easy. Today's matter is not something you can interfere in. Xiao Yenyao and the others were gloomy. They helped Fan Tong to the side while Grand Preceptor 1 stepped forward again. It's best for unrelated people to step aside. This seat is here to propose marriage. Fan Tong, you said that Fan Jinjin already has someone in her heart. Could it be Lin Yu? I didn't sense his presence from the beginning. Why don't you call him out and I'll ask him myself? Don't even think about it. Fan Tong spat out another mouthful of blood. Very well, Fan Tong. Don't blame me for using force. Grand Preceptor Wen's aura swept out in all directions as soon as he finished speaking, sweeping away the debris in the surroundings. Shan Qingling and the others were solemn. They knew that there was no way to resolve this peacefully. At the same time, the 6th Sea region's restrictions set up by Fan Tong cracked. Two figures came out from the broken formation. One of them stood in front of Grand Preceptor 1, his expression as calm as water. But Lin Yuan knew that Lin Yu, in this state, already had the intention to kill him. Chapter 782. Isn't this the sequence? Grand Preceptor 1 sneered. Naturally he wouldn't be scared off by a kid who looked like he was in his teens. When High Lord, Situ Jingtian stopped his attack and hesitated. Although the sequence didn't have any real power in the Boundless Sea, it was still the sequence. In terms of power, it might not be as great as the Ocean Lord level. However, their reputation and future potential in the Border Sea were much greater than the Ocean Lord level. No worries, this person has offended the Venerable One once, do you still remember? Grand Preceptor 1 reassured them. These people immediately remembered the Venerable One's questioning of Lin Yu yesterday, during which he even released his pressure. That pressure shocked the entire place, how could they forget? Makes sense. Could it be that even the Venerable One doesn't like this kid? Of course, if the Venerable One likes him, why would he release his pressure on him? The reason why he didn't really take his life is because Lin Yu has become the sequence, and the Venerable One is worried about our boundless sea's face. Grand Preceptor One said with certainty. After the other ocean lords heard this, they felt that it made sense. Fire Buddha, who had a grudge with Lin Yu from the beginning, already snorted. This kid first killed my disciple Su Longxiang, and then offended the Venerable One. Grand Preceptor One, why don't we take him down today and take the blame for him? What the Fire Ocean Lord said makes sense. Grand Preceptor Wen's face was filled with joy. The Venerable One didn't touch him because of his sequence identity. If he really wants to kill Lin Yu, perhaps he still needs a reason. Today we'll find a reason to share the Venerable One's worries. These people spoke one word at a time. When Fan Tong, Shan Qingling and the others heard this, they realized how shameless these Ocean Lord level people were. Soon, the four of them found a reason. Lin Yu, you seriously injured the Fire Ocean Lord. Today this seat and the others will take you down. Grand Preceptor One snorted and signaled Fire Buddha to go up. Fire Buddha was originally unwilling, but he couldn't go against the votes of the others. First, they came up with the idea of injuring themselves to gain the enemy's confidence. They had an Ocean Lord go up and beat Lin Yu up. Then, they would use this reason to take down Lin Yu. Grand Preceptor One and the others all thought that if they killed Lin Yu for this reason, the Venerable One would be extremely happy. Fire Sea Lord, what are you waiting for? Situ Jingtian said coldly. The white-eyed wolf behind him also gave him a look, indicating for the Fire Buddha to hurry up and attack. Let's go all out, Prime Minister Long. In order to avenge you, I have no choice but to sacrifice myself. Fire Buddha gritted his teeth and charged at Lin Yu. Is he an idiot? Lin Yu's eyes were calm as he watched the Fire Buddha rush towards him. It looked like it wanted to fight him. Moreover, he had deliberately exposed a lot of flaws. It was obvious that he wanted to be beaten up by Lin Yu. This is AF** King Scam. Lin Yu, you brat, die. Fire Buddha's 5 fingers formed a claw and attacked Lin Yu. Lin Yu also raised his hand and the 5 elemental palm print gathered in his hand. Fire Buddha saw this and immediately stopped his attack. However, he was still closing in on Lin Yu. There was once someone who tried to scam me, but he died a painful death. Lin Yu said slowly. Above the 5 elemental palm print, the power of time and space overlap. 3 times 5 elemental palm print. Lin Yu blasted out his palm. The corners of the Ocean Lord's clothes were instantly blown up by the wind. This palm, before it was even released, had such a domineering aura. While Grand Preceptor One and the others were shocked, the one who was the most shocked was the Fire Buddha who was charging at Lin Yu. He thought that after being hit by Lin Yu's attack, he would at most be seriously injured. As long as Lin Yu seriously injured him, he would be blamed for killing an Ocean Lord. Then, Grand Preceptor One and the others would be able to take him down. But now, the Fire Buddha was a little scared. He felt a sense of danger from this palm strike. A sense of danger as if he was going to die. Wait. The Fire Buddha immediately changed his posture. He wanted to retreat and defend himself. At the same time, his hands had already started to circulate his cultivation technique. However, he had already missed the best opportunity. No one could be so reckless in front of Lin Yu, because Lin Yu would not give his enemy a chance to turn the tables. Rumble. The palm energy whistled and hit the Fire Buddha. The latter immediately felt 3 powerful forces enter his body from his chest. His internal organs were torn apart at this moment. Impossible. The Fire Buddha immediately consumed a large number of elixirs. At the same time, he circulated his 4-symbol state cultivation in an attempt to block the palm energy that Lin Yu had sent into his body. However, as his internal organs were continuously destroyed by the 5 elemental palm print, the Fire Buddha's aura also instantly withered. He had been hit by Lin Yu's palm. He was only worthy of being hit by Lin Yu's palm. This, Grand Preceptor One, Fire Ocean Lord he. Bai Yanlang and Situ Jingtian were shocked. Why did it seem like an Ocean Lord could not withstand Lin Yu's palm? When the two of them wanted to go forward and take a look, Grand Preceptor One raised his hand and signaled them not to make a move. Save me, save me! The Fire Buddha pleaded for help from Grand Preceptor One and the others behind him. At this moment, if these people attacked at the same time, with their Ocean Lord level skills, they might be able to help the Fire Buddha force out 3 times the 5 elemental palm print. However, they did not. Soon, the Fire Buddha became a corpse and fell in front of everyone. The Ocean Lord level powerhouse who was still clamoring just now. He could not withstand Lin Yu's move and died in front of everyone. Dead silence. The air was as silent as death. Shan Qingling's heart was beating so fast that it almost jumped out of her throat. Her understanding of Lin Yu had once again been refreshed. An Ocean Lord level powerhouse who is even stronger than me. He couldn't even withstand a single palm from him and died just like that? They did not need to go forward to check the Fire Buddha's injuries. They only needed to scan with their divine will to know that the Fire Buddha was really dead. His face was filled with pain and regret for offending Lin Yu and dying. Unfortunately, this regret was too late for him to realize. Protect him! Fan Tong's words broke the current anger. Xiao Yenyao and the others immediately understood the problem. The Fire Buddha was dead. He died in Lin Yu's hands. Killing an Ocean Lord level powerhouse, even if Lin Yu was a sequence member, was destined to be punished by the Venerable One. When the Venerable One was angry, a light punishment would be crippled. A heavy punishment would be annihilation. Lin Yu, you go first. Leave the boundless sea. Go as far as you can. Xiao Yinyao pulled Lin Yu and took a few steps back. At the same time, Yang Ju and Shan Qingling blocked Lin Yu. Seeing this, Grand Preceptor One knew that his evil plan had succeeded. Although he had sacrificed the Fire Buddha, that was a matter of the other seas. It had nothing to do with him. Most importantly, he had a reason to get rid of Lin Yu. Lin Yu was a sequence member and a member of the 6th Sea. If he continued to grow, his future achievements would definitely surpass his own. Even the power of the 6th Sea would rise because of Lin Yu's strength. This was an outcome that Grand Preceptor One did not want to see. Lin Yu, you killed the Fire Ocean Lord. You can't leave today. As soon as Grand Preceptor One finished speaking, Bai Yanlang, Situ Jingtian, and the rest of the Ocean Lords surrounded him. Chapter 783. You can kill me if you want. Lin Yu slowly smiled and spread his hands. He was too lazy to be afraid of these Sea Lords. Since they wanted to cause trouble, he might as well take a gamble. Lin Yu, be careful. Although Shan Qingling and the rest stood in front of Lin Yu, she was still worried because she knew that she, Xiao Yenyao, and Yang Ju might not be able to stop these people. Just Grand Tutor when strength alone was not something that any of them could stop alone. It's fine, move aside. Lin Yu suddenly said. Shan Qingling, Yang Ju, and the rest felt their hearts tighten. Lin Yu, Xiao Yenyao didn't agree at first. However, Lin Yu cupped his hands together and said, "Trust me." Xiao Yenyao hesitated for a moment before sighing in relief. "All right, you're not a reckless child." Although Xiao Yenyao was worried, he still gave up his seat after saying this. Yang Ju also did the same action as Xiao Yan when he saw this. Shan Qingling stepped forward and said to Lin Yu, don't mess around. You care about me that much? Lin Yu raised his eyebrows and smiled. He suddenly felt that Shan Qingling was a little cute. You saved my life before, I naturally don't want you to die in front of me. No other meaning. Shan Qingling's eyes flashed when she said the second half of her sentence. How could this be hidden from the shrewd Lin Yu? All right, I know what I'm doing. The unlucky one today won't be me. Lin Yu patted Shan Qingling's hand. He didn't continue to expose Shan Qingling's feelings for him. Fan Tong saw Lin Yu and Shan Qingling's slight actions, and his injuries immediately worsened. Daughter, father didn't keep a close eye on you. Cough. He coughed a few times. Although he felt guilty towards Fan Jinjin, Fan Tong also understood that an outstanding young man like Lin Yu would naturally attract the opposite sex easily. This was a realm that he had not been able to reach in the past, no matter how hard he tried. The three of them stepped aside. When Grand Preceptor Wen saw that Lin Yu had no one to protect him, he laughed maniacally. The four of them charged forward, unleashing all of their power. They seemed to have reached a consensus, and decided to use all of their power to take down Lin Yu from the start. First, it was the death of Tai Jian and the others. Then, it was the death of the Fire Buddha. This made these people realize that Lin Yu was strange and they couldn't underestimate him. Either he didn't make a move, or if he did, he would kill him. He wouldn't even give him the chance to resist. Lord Wen Hai, do you want to keep him alive? There's no need. Just bring a corpse to the Venerable One and explain everything. That's enough. Then it's easy to deal with. This brat is arrogant and conceited. He didn't even put up a defense. He clearly doesn't put us ocean lords in his eyes. He deserves to die in our hands. Everyone rushed forward. Lin Yuan stood behind Lin Yu and did not move. Since Lin Yu said that he didn't need to help, then he didn't need to help. It's not that he didn't worry about Lin Yu, but that he had absolute trust in him. This kind of trust, with a bit of a blood connection, is more special than ordinary trust. Grand Preceptor Wen and others quickly approached Lin Yu. 3 feet, 2 feet, 1 foot. Lin Yu was still unmoved, and he didn't even put up a basic defense. Shan Qingling and others behind him were also heartbeat to the extreme, for fear that Lin Yu would play himself to death. Especially Shan Qingling and Fan Tong, they had even activated their cultivation. If necessary, they would still take action. They couldn't really watch Lin Yu die in front of them. Grand Preceptor Wen was the fastest, and his skills were the strongest. His moves were also extremely murderous. At this moment, Grand Preceptor Wen's 3 fingers formed the shape of an eagle's claw and directly aimed at Lin Yu's throat. This attack was bound to break Lin Yu's throat, and even his entire head would be knocked off by Grand Preceptor Wen. Got him. 3 feet. Grand Preceptor Wen sneered inwardly. At this distance, with his speed, even Lin Yu wouldn't be able to resist in time. He was dead meat. 2 feet. 1 foot. However, just as Grand Preceptor Wen thought that his hand, Shan Qingling, Fan Tong, and the others had rushed over, a terrifying pressure surpassed the 4 symbols realm, the 10,000 spirits realm, and instantly reached the Spirit King realm, enveloping the entire space. As the pressure descended, Grand Preceptor Wen's attack stopped in the air at lightning speed. He was only 1 foot away, but he couldn't move an inch forward, and couldn't hit Lin Yu's throat. Supremacy! Supremacy! Grand Preceptor Wen's heart trembled. The boundless sea allowed infighting. In the past, the supremacy wouldn't interfere in the boundless sea's infighting. But this time, when they attacked Lin Yu, they didn't expect the supremacy to make a move. Grand Preceptor Wen and the other sea lords immediately had a bad feeling. As the pressure descended, the space in front of everyone suddenly shattered. The originally empty space actually shattered like a mirror in the air. A man's figure walked out of the shattered space. It was Supremacy Boundless. Greetings, Supremacy. How would Grand Preceptor Wen and the others dare to hurt Lin Yu? They could fight among themselves in the boundless sea, but when the Supremacy appeared, they couldn't hurt people in front of him. Because the person in front of them was the god of the boundless sea. No one dared to be violent in front of a god. Shan Qingling's hanging heart finally calmed down. The supremacy looked at Grand Preceptor 1 and the others, then looked at Lin Yu's appearance. He looked like he was courting death. Do you know that he's in the sequence? The supremacy's cold voice sounded. Grand Preceptor 1 had been the first Sea Lord for so many years. How could he not know that the supremacy in this state was angry? This old servant deserves to die. Grand Preceptor 1 immediately knelt down. Lin Yu killed Fire Buddha Sea Lord. We want to take him down first, then hand him over to the supremacy to deal with. Seeing this, the other Sea Lords also added a few words. Yes, this person is cruel and vicious. Fire Buddha admired Lin Yu's ability in the sequence, so he kindly sparred with him. I didn't expect this person to be so ruthless. He doesn't care about us Sea Lords at all. Supremacy, please punish Lin Yu. Supremacy, please punish Lin Yu. They all knelt down and shouted at the same time. Fan Tong stood up with Xiao Yanyao's help, wanting to say a few words for Lin Yu. But the supremacy raised his hand, indicating for everyone to shut up. Obviously, he didn't want to listen anymore. Fan Tong was very familiar with this scene. Someone like Supremacy Wuya had limited patience, so he wouldn't listen to others. Grand Preceptor 1 also knew about this, so he immediately spoke up for Fan Tong, using up the supremacy's patience. At this moment, Fan Tong was like a mute eating Chinese medicine, unable to complain even if he wanted to. But Supremacy Wuya didn't think that Lin Yu was wrong. Instead, he asked Lin Yu. Grand Preceptor 1 and the others felt their hearts tighten. This was the first time they'd heard Supremacy Wuya ask such a gentle question. I only have one thing to say. Lin Yu's voice was equally calm, without the slightest ripple. It was as if he couldn't hear the accusations Grand Preceptor 1 and the others had made against him. Soon, Lin Yu's words once again fell into everyone's ears. I withdraw from the sequence ranking battle. Chapter 784. As soon as these words came out, the surrounding air seemed to have dropped to the freezing point. The others did not dare to say a word, only incomparably shocked in their hearts. Although the position of the sequence has no real power, it represents the best future of the younger generation. But Lin Yu actually wants to give up such a bright future at this moment? However, the next moment they were shocked again. Because Lin Yuan, who had not spoken during the whole process, also took a step forward and said calmly, I also withdraw. If the two sequences withdraw from the Battle of the Sequence list, then who will the Boundless Sea send to compete for the sequence list? If this matter spreads out, the Boundless Sea, which is already ranked as a low-class sea, will be even more ashamed in the future. Even Venerable Wuya's face was gloomy at this moment. Why? He always only cared about the result, not the reason. But this time, he took the initiative to ask. The sixth sea is chaotic, and everyone is scheming against each other. Even if the sequence is out, their so-called Sea Lord is jealous of the virtuous and intends to harm me. Lin Yu said word by word, and his tone suddenly became sonorous and powerful, completely different from the calmness just now. Grand Preceptor 1 and the others' hearts tightened, and beads of sweat appeared on their faces. When he wanted to defend himself, Lin Yu's second sentence interrupted him first. The sixth sea is not worthy of my service. The sixth sea is not worthy of his service. These few words were enough to thoroughly enrage Venerable Wuya. In an instant, everyone present knelt down. Even Shan Qingling, Fan Tong, and the others trembled on the ground. It's over. It's over. Lin Yu, what are you talking about? Although Grand Preceptor 1 and the others also knelt together, they were overjoyed at this moment, and some even snickered in their hearts. This Lin Yu is really rampant, daring to say such words in front of Venerable Wuya. Today, no matter how high his talent is, whether he is a sequence or not, no one can save him. Venerable Wuya's gaze fell on Lin Yu. The other party's gaze was extremely deep, as if he had thought about this decision clearly, and it was not a spur-of-the-moment decision. "Are you not afraid that I will kill you?" Venerable Wuya said once more. At this moment, everyone's hair stood on end. When an emperor is angry, millions of corpses will fall. Venerable Wuya was the emperor of this boundless ocean. Just when they all thought that Lin Yu was dead for sure, Lin Yu just smiled and said, "You can kill me." Before Reverend Boundless could respond, Lin Yu waved his hand and continued, however, the strong care about their reputation. "If the two echelon cultivators of the boundless sea die today, then your reputation will die as well." As soon as he said this, everyone lowered their heads again. This Lin Yu is crazy. He was still angering the Venerable One. These people cursed in their hearts. They were afraid that Lin Yu's actions would implicate them. By then, the Venerable One would not only kill Lin Yu, but they would also be implicated. Compared to my life, Lin Yu believes that the Venerable One should pay more attention to your reputation. Lin Yu said again. After all, when Lin Yu was trapped on the same day, he had already understood the psychology of many powerhouses from the perspective of a mortal. The gap between him and Venerable Wuya was the gap between him and those powerhouses of the sovereign realm and the law realm. However, in Lin Yu's opinion, these two realms were no longer qualified. However, he understood that human nature had similarities. No matter how strong Venerable Wuya was, he was still human. Powerhouses had two common problems. First, they liked to look down on the weak. Therefore, no matter what threats Lin Yu said, as long as he wasn't afraid, these powerhouses would instead look at him with respect. However, in Venerable Wuya's eyes, people like Grand Preceptor One and Fan Tong were nothing more than obedient dogs. He wouldn't even look at them, much less praise them. Second, there was the problem of his reputation. The more people knew about a powerhouse, the more they paid attention to their reputation. Those hidden powerhouses were naturally an exception. However, Lin Yu knew that powerhouses like Venerable Wuya were both the master of the boundless sea and a powerhouse on the divine god list. When everyone thought that Lin Yu was courageous enough to say such a death-seeking sentence, they heard Lin Yu's second sentence. "The Venerable One can't kill us, but Lin Yuan and I can seek refuge in other seas." The corners of Lin Yu's mouth rose, and his face showed strong confidence. "No sea will reject the sequence of another sea, because accepting us also proves that they are stronger than the boundless sea." It was the same provocative sentence, and it had already made Venerable Wuya's face gloomy to the extreme. This person was really courting death. Grand Preceptor One and the others had been thinking that Lin Yu was dead for sure, but they didn't know why the Venerable One hadn't killed Lin Yu until now. Instead, he repeatedly asked for the reason and even warned him. And this warning was now refuted by Lin Yu, which made the Venerable One's gaze become even more gloomy. Unfortunately, the scene of the Venerable One killing Lin Yu in anger that they were looking forward to didn't happen. Well, this matter is the fault of others. This sentence reached everyone's ears. Everyone thought that they had heard it wrong. What did he mean? The Venerable One compromised? He was repeatedly contradicted by Lin Yu, so how did it become the fault of others? But when they came back to their senses, they knelt on the ground and secretly glanced at the Venerable One, only to see the Venerable One patting Lin Yu's shoulder with one hand. His appearance didn't have the appearance of anger just now. It was clearly full of the kindness of a senior to a junior. Clap, clap. The sound of two palms patting on the shoulder was heard, and these people clearly saw that Venerable Wuya actually revealed a smile. Lin Yu, think about it again. This sentence didn't have much tone, and it sounded gentle, but it exploded in everyone's heart like thunder. It wasn't that this sentence was domineering, but that this sentence was a little strange. They had never heard the Venerable One speak to others in such a tone. Even when facing other powerhouses and Ocean Lord level figures, the Venerable One had always used a commanding tone. Where did this kindness and gentleness come from when he was speaking to Lin Yu? The Venerable One naturally knew how these people viewed him, but he didn't care. Compared to those below who were angry but didn't dare to speak up, if he lost face and lost his place on the celestial god list and really caused Lin Yu to flee to other seas, if he couldn't even bring out 2 sequences in a few days, then where would he put his face in the 3 realms? This was what the Venerable One was truly concerned about. It could be said that every word Lin Yu said just now struck Venerable Wuya's heart. He was right, powerhouses cared about face and reputation the most. Seeing that Lin Yu still didn't speak, Venerable Wuya could see that Lin Yu was no longer as resolute as before. This meant that he had changed his mind, but was also waiting for him to reveal his true sincerity. Today you have suffered grievances. As the master of the boundless sea, I indeed have to do something. Venerable Wuya's voice suddenly turned cold. Grand Preceptor Wen stepped forward. Chapter 785. Grand Preceptor Wen stepped forward. Venerable Wuya's words shook Grand Preceptor Wen. His mind rumbled. With his many years of experience, he already guessed that something bad was going to happen. Venerable One, this has nothing to do with me. Grand Preceptor Wen didn't get up. Instead, he maintained his kneeling position and crawled over to beg for mercy. Venerable Wuya ignored him and looked at Lin Yu. Does it have anything to do with him? Nothing. It was the Fire Buddha who challenged Lin Yu. Grand Preceptor Wen shouted. He was sure that the Venerable One wanted to avenge Lin Yu. The Venerable One allowed the sequence to kill an Ocean Lord. Moreover, when others were making things difficult for the sequence, the Venerable One would stand up for him. This time it was over. Venerable Wuya didn't hear the Grand Preceptor's words. He was waiting for Lin Yu's reply. At this moment, Grand Preceptor Wen's life seemed to be in Lin Yu's hands. Lin Yu, I didn't hurt you, right? Grand Preceptor Wen naturally realized this. He knelt on the ground and pulled Lin Yu's leg. Lin Yu, if I've offended you before, I'm willing to apologize. However, what happened just now has nothing to do with me. It was the Fire Buddha who deliberately made things difficult for you because of Su Longxiang's death. Lin Yu looked down and saw the high and mighty First Ocean Lord crawling in front of him. He smiled and slowly squatted down. He said in Grand Preceptor Wen's ear, "It doesn't matter who wants to touch me. However, Fan Jinjin is my woman. Fan Jinjin is my woman." These words were like 8 claps of thunder that exploded in Grand Preceptor Wen's mind. Lin Yu, Grand Preceptor Wen wanted to refute, but Lin Yu had already stood up and said to the Venerable One, "If it has nothing to do with him, why do you feel so guilty?" Venerable Wuya thought that Lin Yu would say something about evidence. However, he didn't. Lin Yu only used the simplest and most violent method. Guilty conscience. As he said, if it had nothing to do with this matter, why was Grand Preceptor Wen so afraid of death and begging for mercy? Wasn't it because he had a guilty conscience? This old man can explain. Grand Preceptor Wen wanted to say something, but Lin Yu already had the intention to kill. 2 legs. Lin Yu only said 3 words. Venerable Wuya finally understood what was going on. A wave of pressure swept over and Grand Preceptor Wen's 2 legs were directly chopped off by the pressure. Blood splattered everywhere, splashing onto the other Ocean Lords who were with him. But at this moment, these people didn't even dare to move. They allowed the blood to splash onto their bodies and stain their lofty sea master-level robes. Grand Preceptor Wen's pained howls could be heard continuously. Lin Yu didn't even look at him. He didn't want Grand Preceptor Wen's life, because he was giving Venerable Wuya a way out. You can't go to the extreme, and you can't use up all the favors you've done. Breaking Grand Preceptor Wen's 2 legs to let everyone know his attitude was enough. However, Grand Preceptor Wen was the first Ocean Lord after all, the strongest person under Venerable Wuya. If Venerable Wuya really killed Grand Preceptor Wen, Perhaps Venerable Wuyao would really kill Grand Preceptor 1 in order for Lin Yu and Lin Yuan to smoothly participate in the rankings. But at the same time, Lin Yu used up the face that Venerable Wuyao gave him. At that moment, Lin Yu's favorable impression in his heart would also be lost. "Thank you, Venerable, for upholding justice for me," Lin Yu said while clasping his fist. Lin Yuan on the side also clasped his fists at the same time. This scene meant that this matter had come to an end. Situ Jingtian and the others were extremely scared. Today, several ocean lords came to find trouble with Fan Tong because they each had their own ulterior motive. Grand Preceptor 1 wanted to kill Fan Tong, and the others also wanted to settle accounts because their subordinates died in the hands of Lin Yu and Lin Yuan. But today's outcome was already obvious. Although Fan Tong was injured, but the Fire Buddha was dead, and Grand Preceptor Wen's legs were broken. He was destined to be half a cripple. The first Ocean Lord will inevitably decline from now on. As for the disciple brought by Grand Preceptor 1, he was already scared out of his wits when he saw Grand Preceptor Wen's legs were broken. He knelt on the ground and trembled. It is estimated that in this life, Lin Yu will become his nightmare. There is no need for Lin Yu to make a move again. This person will not be of any use in the future. We will set off in an hour. Venerable Wuyao left a sentence and disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. Those ocean lords dared to slowly get up after confirming that Venerable Wuyao had left. The people who opposed Lin Yu just now also left quickly after apologizing again and again, not daring to provoke Lin Yu again. The people of the first Ocean Lord pulled away the half-dead Grand Preceptor 1. For a long time, they wouldn't even dare see Lin Yu's face. Fan Tong saw Lin Yu stand up for him. Although he also noticed the unusual relationship between Dan Qingling and Lin Yu, he could only sigh with emotion. "My daughter, you have good taste." He didn't know if Fan Jinjin could accept the constant stream of beauties by Lin Yu's side, but it was inevitable for the strong. Fan Tong also knew that Lin Yu was helpless against this. The group rested for a while. Thanks to Lin Yu's pills, Fan Tong's injuries were much better. "Your pills are miraculous. I can't believe they healed me so quickly," Fan Tong exclaimed. What he didn't know was that Lin Yu had secretly reset spacetime. However, he didn't reset it to the time before Fan Tong's injuries. He only reset it halfway. There were too many unknowns in this world for Lin Yu. He needed to preserve his spacetime value for emergencies. As for Lin Yu's current spacetime value, when he first checked it, spacetime value 878. 88. Lin Yu knew that this wasn't real spacetime value. It was the key to the gathering place of all the prodigies in the Sky Desert universe. With this key, he would be able to find the place where the prodigies were and gather with them. He looked at it again. Spacetime? 8. After the battle with Ling Xiao, he had 14 million spacetime value left. That should be enough. Spacetime value could be accumulated over time, increasing a little every day. Therefore, Lin Yu wasn't afraid that he would use it all up one day. Still, there was nothing wrong with saving a little. As for Fan Tong and the others, after they recovered from their injuries, they sent Lin Yu to the Venerable One's place. Lin Yu and the others were going to the Sequencer City. "Kid, I can't go there with you. I don't have the right, so be careful," Fan Tong exhorted. Lin Yu didn't have time to nod, but suddenly, in another direction of the boundless sea, an incomparably strong earthquake came. The others were shocked. However, Lin Yu and Fan Tong both had a bad feeling about this. The earthquake came from the 6th sea domain. Only Fan Jinjin and the army were guarding the 6th sea domain. But now there was such a big earthquake. Lin Yu could feel that the power of the earthquake was beyond the 10,000 spirits realm. Something happened there. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.